All right, all right. What's up, folks? Let's get into it. Let's get into Nolan Wells, man. And as the days go by, the internet erupts, and more of its conspiracy, more of its placing of guilt, more of its open divide because of the despicable history of what America is, the deep racial divide and certain errors. I won't say there's a deep racial divide amongst all groups of America. I think a lot of the racial divide and split in America is generational. I think it may begin to like race relations beyond like a in the generation or maybe the generation after me, going from that age group on back. I think race relation amongst them are different, and that's why it's harder for people of at least the age of 40. So at least people born in the 80s. I think people in the 90s, there may be a little bit of change. Maybe definitely the 2000 babies born in late 90s to the 2000s have a different aspect of how they view American relations amongst the various races, especially amongst black groups. They come in a group where they're a melting pot. They come of an age where America has so many immigrant groups. The complexion of America has definitely changed. And it goes from there. And a lot of this past history and experiences inside this country, they haven't seen it as their parents have moved into different environments. Things have changed for them. So they don't see race as many of us about 40 and above have seen things. And things have changed, but as more people 40, 50, and all that other stuff have access to the internet, we open these old doors. We open the doors to these chapters in this book, better known as America's History. And it's filth in it. It's nothing but filth. And as you go into a state like Mississippi, its history has some of the worst filth up in it as you look at American history, which is something that bitch in the White House can't teach because he's an immigrant. He's new to this motherfucker like a majority of the population in this country. So I see where people take this situation with Nolan Wells and they apply much of the dark history of America, and it's the open history of America. It ain't even a hidden history. It ain't none of that. It's dark as fuck. It's sick as fuck. And so I see that approach, and as the time goes on, there's more and more of these speculations and placing the blame. But my thing is that autopsy already out, and is that autopsy not providing with what people want to hear? And if that autopsy puts that out there, it only leaves a question of why was he left on that fucking island? Why was he in that water? How did he end up drowning? If the autopsy revealed that there was no foul play, such as him being beaten on, because I'm hearing, like, as I listen to people, I don't listen to people to be like, oh, I'm gonna run with this narrative and oh, I'm gonna regurgitate what this person said. Oh, I buy into what this person said. And the reason why I don't and will not and won't is because none of us there. Not even his parents is there. His parents wasn't there. The white kid's parents wasn't there. All you gonna go off of is the he say, she say of these young individuals who are allowed to be too fucking grown. And that's the issue, is that parents have allowed too much of a loose leash on their young kids, young teenage kids, to where these kids are at the age to where they can do so much fucking up. They're at the age to where they can do so much to ruin their fucking lives. They're at the age to where there's a failure in the parenting of these kids. And even with upper middle class, the rich white kids, they parents are failures in the way in which they allow these kids to go off and do the delinquent ass shit that they get out here and do, to have the access to operating boats, alcohol all around them and shit, sex fuel. That's the other thing, is that they're the hormones raging, the various groups. There's constant fights at these type of fucking gatherings and shit. There's a lot of fucking that going on in these events. That's why a lot of these bitches don't be knowing who the father of their kids and shit. There's all type of shit these kids can get themselves caught into. But the thing about with the thing with for me with the situation is whatever this independent autopsy puts out, if it doesn't put out that this dude was beat on, he was strangled, and these kids won't be able to get away with that shit. They wouldn't know. I was looking at one video. I heard this chick talking about his body was found beyond recognition. Like, that sounds like some stupid ass shit. I believe his body washed up like the day after. There ain't that much goddamn decomposition in a person's body like that. So I was like, these bitches just be on here talking a bunch of shit they don't know about, fueling a bunch of rumors, fueling a bunch of misinformation. And that's the kind of era we live in. We live in this era to where we have so many dumbass people, where we live in this age of information, and we have so many people misinforming people because people don't take the time to want to do their own research, their own reading, proper fact checking, source verifying type research. They just go off of what some motherfucker who wasn't there, who probably thousands of miles away from even this Mississippi Island. This is the other shit that lets me know people don't know what the fuck they talking about, because I guarantee more than, and this is for this country, it's probably people even in Mississippi that did not know they had islands down there. I'm, for one, showing the hell to know that shit. I ain't never heard about people going even to a beach in Mississippi, to the coast of Mississippi, let alone some damn island where the kids gather at and shit. So therefore, a bunch of us don't know shit that's going on there, wasn't there, thousands of miles away, and all we have to go off of is a bunch of belligerent ass fucking young kids and shit who are out there drunk, probably not fucking. And that's the other thing you're dealing with, where stories don't line up, is people just think that these are just kids out there grouping together, having fun. These kids out there drunk, probably high, probably not paying attention. People bringing up the Nolan. Nolan, like everybody was just looking at Nolan, like Nolan was the center of attention on the day all these kids out there. You got dudes out here, probably out here trying to fuck. You got girls out there who are probably trying to get fucked, and who are out there just gathering, trying to be seen, just having the fun of their goddamn summers. They ain't paying attention to just no one individual. But it's fucked up to say that maybe, let's say that these dudes did not, let's say these dudes did not put hands on this dude. This question has to go, why the fuck did you come with this dude, and why did you leave him? But if there's stories that he said he was going to leave with another chick, that shit is a common thing amongst young dudes as well. We've all have seen that shit. A bunch of us have probably done that shit. If you have it to where you out here, because that's the mission where these dudes come out there, but the dude is wrong to do that shit. So when you go out there to try to get laid and shit, you got a bitch who you feel on your motherfucking dick. You want to kick it out here with her. You want to get something lined up. Oh, she like, shit, I can ride back to shore with her and shit. She'll drop me off. I'm going to kick it with her. At least that's what he thought she said. And they said, all right, well, we out of here. We got to get back here. Woo, woo. Nolan, the only one about to get laid. The other dudes wasn't about to get no pussy. They about to go back to the shore with dry motherfucking peckers and shit. Nolan about to get his shit wet and felt that he was going to kick it with this chick. And later to find out the chick wasn't going to let him ride back with him, and now he ain't got no ride. That's why when you do this water shit, you go out anywhere far away from home. And this is the problem with young dudes. I don't give a fuck how much a parent teach their young boys, or parent teach their young girl. When they get away and they get a midst of these social environments, man, everything you are taught with these retarded motherfuckers goes clearly out of their motherfucking database. They delete all that shit you've ever taught them and shit. All that shit checked out. These motherfuckers so caught up in the moment doing so much stupid shit and not aware of their surroundings, especially when they have been sheltered all their lives. The thought of danger, the thought of them being harmed, the thought of them being killed, that shit is non-existent. That shit is non-existent as hell with a lot of these young ass adults. But for the fact there's no adults there, you're going to be left with many stories that don't line up. And I think motherfuckers sound stupid as fuck to me wondering why they hear so many inconsistencies in each story they get, and we don't even know if these true stories. But the other thing that leads to where the parents, I don't hear the parents too much like point and blame like their kid was killed. They just want answers because shit seems funny. Of course it's gonna seem funny. They lost a fucking child that they done spent all this time raising and loving and shit, and this motherfucker is gone. And they probably didn't even get the, if he left early, they probably didn't get their last hug from this motherfucker, a goodbye, none of that shit. So they hurt, but you get the people on the internet just making up all this shit going on. And that's the thing that dummies here on the internet don't fucking get. I won't play the race shit regardless of this Mississippi. For us of my age and above, yeah, we gonna always play race. And then we still got to teach these kids because it's still some of that shit exists with the younger generations because they're around these old, twisted, wicked, bitch-made ass people who would teach these kids racial ass shit, but when they were youth was getting beat up all their motherfucking lives. And they teach this weak shit. But these kids was probably high, drunk, and whatever the fuck else is going on in their own bubble, not paying attention to just Nolan. Like everybody treating like they were supposed to be watching Nolan. And then the other thing, when there's like a bunch of these shits, like, it's just older groups who be like, man, why this black kid up there with all these white kids? It's common with, I'll listen to the one black kid on that TMZ shit. And the way he was talking, because he looked kind of mixed race, he was like, it ain't uncommon for them to have white friends and shit. They all group, and it becomes more and more common. Like I be saying, this is why I post the shit I post on my Instagram. Because I love to see the way people respond to my shit. And I may post shit with fighting. I may post shit with white people behavior and saying certain shit. And I'll post videos where you can see white folks in large groups rumbling and fighting each other. And the one thing they say to each other, nigga, bitch ass nigga. And you know where they get that shit from? Because they're so intermixed with one another. And when I watch them, I watch these shits where they boating and shit. Like I said, I don't do none of that spring break boating shit. Never want to be on water with motherfuckers. Don't trust motherfuckers. If I ain't got a knife or no gun, I don't give a fuck how cool we is and all that shit. Niggas be drunk, getting high. Some people act like bitch-made people when they're around other people and shit. They may switch up on their friends and shit. You just never know with who is who. A lot of motherfuckers got Jekyll and Hyde in them and shit. Would never go to no shit like that. So, but that's the thing. When you see this shit, these motherfuckers so intertwined, even in the South and shit. And many people who live in the South with black kids, you see your fucking black ass kid with all kind of white ass friends. In your day and age, that shit probably never happened. But some of you 40, 50-year-old motherfuckers grew up in environments with white folks. Everybody doesn't have shared ass experiences in this country neither. That's the other thing. So the thing for me with Nolan shit is that autopsy need to come out. How fucking long do it take for an autopsy? Hell, Lindsey Graham shit then came up. Find out that little weak ass old motherfucker got poor ass genetics. Like I said, I was reading that shit the other day before they came out with his shit. And reading on that shit because I wanted to see where Lindsey Graham was from because I know Lindsey Graham, a new arrival to America. And I seen that with his parents. His parents died young because genetically they fucked. And old backwoods, South Carolina bigot, Lindsey Graham had fucked up genetics as well. And it was simple as fucking that. But his autopsy report came out already with the medical report and all that shit. But then again, Lindsey Graham wasn't in water and shit neither. And Lindsey Graham didn't have to be flown to another state. But they flew Nolan out was it going on a week? So his report should be out this week. And if that report don't show anything else, you of course and all the investigators got to go with what they go off of. They ain't give a fuck what the internet got to say. They don't give two fucks what the internet got to say. And then everybody making the run towards. But the one thing I do like, what I see out of this Nolan shit, is the way in which people corralled around this shit. And to be like, we ain't about to play this racial shit. And to put a motherfucking real bright spotlight on Mississippi. And because Mississippi has a real ill-ass history in the way they investigate shit. Especially when it's a victim who is black and shit and some crime and the high probability of a fucking cover-up that is done when being investigated by law enforcement officials down in Mississippi. Who knows? Maybe that shit could have changed down there. Who knows? But the fact that you see, that's why you get people like Al Sharpton, who's of an age, who sees that shit, Ben Crump, who's civil rights, and it's probably a real reason why Ben Crump follows these type of cases and is down there. Like, you gotta admire, you gotta appreciate the work that Ben Crump does, but the speculation they throwing out there that the kid was killed, it's like I say, allowing your kids to just be always in these social gatherings, want to be fit in and all that shit, and go to shit like this where ain't no adults supervising these motherfuckers, man. Shit like this can pop up because young dudes do bitch ass shit, and that's just real. A lot of us done been around people we done grew up, and you check shit, because I always trip off when I see people do some of the shit they do. Like, what was the purpose you functioning doing that shit? And you see people do just bitch ass shit. And that's why I was like, man, I hope my kid, I don't give a fuck about like needing to kick it with niggas. Like, be your own fucking person, nigga. Have bitches, have this and that, but to fit in with groups and motherfuckers, and where you get in your group, somebody in your group want to start shit, then you got to jump on motherfuckers, or they get you involved in shit. Cause we used to have this motherfucker when I was in the army, used to be on that, start that kind of shit. And I remember it was one time we was like, this nigga get drunk, because we be in the clubs deep and shit, and will start shit and say shit. But then you find out this motherfucker won't fight on his own. Because there's been 2 incidents where I remember with the same motherfucker get drunk, say little sideways ass shit, like it's just gonna roll off on people and they not gonna do shit, like you punking somebody. Tori's like, well, nigga, shit, y'all gonna fight a fair one. Like, ain't nobody gonna jump you. Oh, no. Well, no, it's cool. No, nigga, what? You came over and got everybody start all this shit, and now motherfuckers gonna make sure you don't get drunk. This type of bitch ass shit you deal with people to make sure you ain't gonna get jumped, and you can get a fair fight with this motherfucker. You ain't gonna do shit. It was this other motherfucker in our unit where this nigga get his car jacked. He was always putting beat in this car, new radio system, and this and that shit. Him and some dude who he's having beef, and this is how much this is the bitch shit with young dudes, where they getting into each other because they both fucking the same bitch. So bitch really pimping these dudes. But this nigga get his car broke into, get his speaker system stolen, all this other shit. He knew it was his dude. He see this nigga in the club. He come, oh, you know that nigga that stole my shit, dude. All this other shit. Was like, what? Oh, he over there with his group. So the nigga, you know how shit gets started up, nigga. Well, nigga, let's go outside of the. Was like, well, nigga, shit, nigga, y'all, you, like I say, nigga, you fight the fair one. You ain't about to have these other niggas he with ain't had nothing to do with your shit getting stolen. This nigga stole your shit. Whoop his ass then. In a minute they want to jump in, that we'll have a good ass melee in that motherfucker. But other than that, you gonna fight that nigga, turn that shit down. It's like, you bitch ass dude. It's another incident why the same dude I'm talking about, where he in the we in the club and shit, and this nigga in there sit down next to some bitches and shit. Where a dude, and this is a crazy shit. A dude was sitting next to the bitches. I think this nigga get up to go buy the chick a drink. He sit down next to her and fucking and holler at the chick. When the dude come back, he snatched that nigga up off the stool, the chair he's sitting in, and just tossed that nigga and allow him to get up. This nigga don't do nothing. Man, I go over there, I swing on that nigga, I sock this nigga all in the back of his head. Nigga, boom, boom, boom. And I like try to yoke the nigga up and watch this bitch ass nigga go to get up and walk off. And I said, this bitch ass nigga. So I get yanked out the club by the fucking bouncers and that motherfucker tossed up. Lucky I go right back in there because the nigga who used to work the door at the club, he was in our unit. So I get to go back in there and I see this nigga. And that nigga, I look at this nigga don't say like thank you or nothing. I walk up to that nigga, I said, nigga, I ought to spit in your motherfucking face, you fucking bitch. Like, nigga, you a hoe ass nigga. And then he had that other, and this is before he had the incident where the nigga stole his car. Like, nigga, he's a bitch. And this is the other thing about allowing dudes to hang with motherfuckers just for the sake of hanging with motherfuckers. Because you don't know who is who, and then people don't hang in the real settings to really develop friendships. And that's the other thing. So the other motherfucker I'm talking about never developed a real friendship amongst the people that I developed the friendships with in my unit. This nigga was just a nigga just wanting to belong to some shit, wanting to fucking kick it. And then seeing a solid group and then be wanting to start shit and think because he got beef that we gonna help him and jump on everybody for him. Like, nigga, please. Use a fucking bitch. And that's the other thing, man. With them leaving this nigga, that friendship wasn't really real. They probably known each other, wanted to go kick it. Oh, bring Nolan. Nolan, the girls like Nolan. We'll get seen. We'll get some play. Nolan trying to go off and do his own thing. Them niggas could have got jealous over that shit. But niggas can't act like a dude they been with who may get more action from the females that will leave his people that he came there with for some pussy. Some niggas can't control themselves. It's simply it. And that's a hard pill for niggas to swallow. And that's probably what happened on that island. His homeboy up there chasing the bitches, snow bunnies on him. And he about to, before he go back to college, he about to get laid. Let me say what's up to y'all. Taylor Bell in the building says, let's go. Matt in the building. Salute to my brother Matthew. He says, I think the boomers fucked up. Sorry, he says, I think the boomers fucked all this shit up. Says, but Generation X and millennials says aren't at fault. Says, if anything, it's the younger generation that have to fix things. Yes, every older generation fails from this point that we're in currently has failed every generation that comes after it. And there's no doubt about that shit. People love to ridicule. Hold on, let me text my son. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. So people love to ridicule the youth and shit. People love ridiculing younger generations. And throwing blame and shade at them and trying to shame them when ain't nothing you can shame them for. They coming in the world that's so fucked up because it's left by you motherfuckers. And then Andrew Charles says, whatever happened, his friends didn't do it. Says they left him on that island. Says I think he was trying to holler at a girl, and that's probably what happened. Communication amongst drunk ass motherfuckers, And that's the thing. You leave with people, you come back with them. But then you get those people with you want to go do other shit, and you be like, who will piss you off. It is nothing for niggas to get mad at, but you get these weak chump ass dudes who can't control themselves, hell bent on pussy chasing and this and that, put themselves in dangerous predicaments, and will leave off with the people they come with. You've been with motherfuckers. Some of us have done that shit. You roll with some motherfucker, got some bitches that's on. And then that's the other crazy thing. How niggas don't realize how dangerous some of these bitches can be. They can be setting your motherfucking ass up. And some of you niggas come from old weasel ass fucking environments and have no game about shit that the shit that people are laced with setting your motherfucking ass up. And a lot of these bitches can be what they call that femme fatale type bitches. Set you up for fucking death. Like, man, come on. Trust me, I'll be knowing because I done some shit chasing at the pussy. And that's why I be looking back. I am such in control. Even though I still got that, I'm in better control of what I used to be. I didn't give a fuck where I go. I'll go chase that goddamn coach. I had that shit bad. And that's probably what Nolan had. Nolan left his homies to go chase at some snow bunny. That motherfucker crazy. And all you got to wait is that autopsy. They need to hurry the fuck up with this goddamn autopsy. They need to go public with that shit. If he drowned, he just drowned. But now the question has to be why you left him. And they may never get it. Because the other thing people got to realize, these kids probably out there drunk and shit. Drunk, not paying attention, caught up in a moment. Everybody got their conversation. Like, come on, that's just the way that shit go in these large gatherings. The most part is keep your kids involved in shit, keep them away to where they just so loose and just everything being party type situations. No different than people allow their kids go to college and let them have these house parties and shit, and they all gather in the house party. These kids get their first experiences in drug use and shit. Parents be wondering why their kids is fucking dope fiends and fucking shits because they didn't allow them on a leash out there with other young motherfuckers. Some young motherfuckers have been exposed to shit at an early age. Everybody think they cool. They introduce you to some shit. Got your kids drinking. Your kids getting drunk, loosening up, feeling cool vibrations. They fitting in. Now this brings some more of the chicks that they wish they could have had access to. Now they're being able to have it. Now your kid turned into a drunk. Your kid turned into a drug addict. Your kid getting caught in this first sexual assault situation because you're allowing too much freedom. Because you're a bitch-made parent trying to motherfucking act like everything's about socialization every fucking 24 fucking hours. Like, fucking teach these niggas something. Supervise the environment. But of course, kids want to be where everything's just loose and no. And then the other thing, don't be so strict as a motherfucking parent or a parent that's just so wound up with a tight ass, always tripping neither. And then he says, don't forget, we need evidence. Says our lack of evidence because it seems like some people have been tampering with the victim's phone. I don't even think they was tampering with the phone, because that's the other thing. This is the other thing with this shit. Why that ain't even a big thing. But I heard the parents saying that shit. But give me 1 second. It says victim's phone. Says, was he in a fight? Says police have a reputation of manipulating evidence. Because this is the other thing when it comes to phones. And I mean, I don't know how niggas don't get it. People watch forensic files, cold case files. They watch First 48, which deals with a lot of technology and shit. They can go subpoena. They ain't got subpoena phone. The parents got access to the phone. So if you want to delete shit and you think you deleting shit, they got niggas that's so cold with this technology shit. They'll go right in these goddamn systems and retrieve everything that you was thinking was erased from that motherfucker that you sitting there deleting. They can retrieve all of that shit. All of these data centers they got all across the country that's popping up is where all your information that you no longer own, that these motherfuckers possess now and shit. That's why you need to be cautious about everything you write in this motherfucker. All of that shit is stored with these people. They go over there. They ain't even got to retrieve a motherfucking court search warrant anymore. They go right in that motherfucker. Found everything these fools deleted. But what's if they deleting? So what would it be? This is the other thing why I don't buy the phone deletion shit and all that other shit is you deleting stuff from what? What is it to hide? It's in that phone. If anything that will be deleted, they need to retrieve the phones of the friends and shit, not this kid's phone. I don't see what these kids will be going to his phone to delete anything. It defeats the purpose of anything. If anything, you go into the white kids that he was with, if there are some suspicions, and see what they deleted, who they were communicating with, and this and that. But to say they deleted shit from his phone, it serves zero purpose, because if he shares something with somebody, there's somebody on the receiving end of whatever he sent out. So what would they be deleting? If something was happening to him, we'd send something to his parents, deleting it would stop what? The parents will receive it. So I don't buy into that shit where they think he deleted. Maybe he deleted. He could have deleted some shit in his phone. He in there. This is the other thing with young dudes. Young dudes can have a girlfriend they with, and then have some bitch on the side. And you getting texts, pictures from abroad, videos from abroad that you know you got to delete, just in case your girl want to go through your phone. Because these devices fucks over a lot of relationships. So of course people gonna delete shit. You ain't gonna. So the mother may see that shit and think that. So that's just simply what that is. I look at things differently because a nigga got experience with shit out here in this world. I ain't no fucking clueless acting ass person, and I try to keep we all jump to speculations and shit, but I try to limit mine. And Acosta says because there's been some cases where I looked at shit from how it's been presented on here and be totally wrong on motherfucking early fucking verdicts on shit. And Acosta says since the parents are digging, says the parents are digging as they should. Says you have to understand that a college student is an adult. Says our parents never really thoroughly inform us about racism, says, but we experience it in real time. And that's the other thing. A lot of parents don't, and what to look for, what not to tolerate from friends of various racial groups, because some of these other kids are getting that shit. It ain't so much of black parents. And in households, black parents ain't teaching racial shit, but you dealing with whites. And when I'm speaking of whites, European Americans and Europeans and South Americans who come of a white background. And then speaking of South Americans who come from the native South American backgrounds, who also teach their kids about that racial shit because they all come from similar church backgrounds. They either come from that Catholic shit that teaches them that old racist bigot shit, or they come from their little Christian faith that teaches them old racial bigot shit. So you got to open your kids. I'll be trying to teach my kids how to be disrespectful from a racial standpoint if they ever have to deal with it, because they got white friends. But if they ever have a white friend that says some old racist shit, then how to offend them? He says, when you get me, he says, when you get donuts, also are you getting raped? Hold on. Yes. Hold on 1 second, folks. All right, I'm texting my kids. So, all right, sorry about that. So, but like I say, I try to teach them like on some racial related shit of how to be disrespectful, how to say racial shit back. I teach them how to be racially offensive to other groups of people. And trust me, I'm the king of that shit. So all that crying because white kids said they don't want to play with you, all that shit. You listen to white kids, you can tell it's coming out of white households. White people can act as if they can act the most clueless and they don't say it. Like I said, when I was to live at my folks' house in Norwalk, my older sister's house, they had this white kid across the street who would play outside. Was he more of my brother's friend and shit. And one day I'm out there, this nigga called me a nigger and trying to run. I slapped the fucking white skin off that motherfucking, tripped him his head. The car's mama standing out there. This bitch get to see me doing that shit and get the, I said, bitch, I'll knock your motherfucking ass out too. And then some of my people's come out there. We in front of their house talking and shit, and the white lady acting like she's like, I don't know where. The nigga named Zachary, I don't know where he learned that from. This nigga gonna tell his mama he learned it from watching Malcolm X. Mine at that time, to this day I ain't never watched the Malcolm X movie fully. I'm looking like, man, these old backward motherfuckers wouldn't dare let anything like that play in their fucking house. I looked at it, man, I dare cock my fist back, about to punch this white kid in his fucking mouth. Like, no fucking well, you ain't learned that from no fucking Malcolm X movie. Like, nigga, your fucking parents talk like that. But I'm like, for that white kid to have the audacity to say that shit, like I was supposed to cry about that shit. I was supposed to go cry and use the no, I'm about to beat your motherfucking ass up. And then and so it was what, I don't even know if my brother continued to play with that motherfucker or not. I know I didn't hang with the motherfucker, but him and my brother used to do gymnastics. My brother's doing gymnastics around that time because that nigga used to know how to flip and shit. But like I say, man, all that shit of teaching, because these other groups teach their kids this racist shit. And then they get out here in the regular world and act as if they're not learning that shit. But when these kids get on, you can just listen to the kids. I don't play the video games, but I hear about this shit all the time. That you get on the motherfucking online things where they playing the games and the chat shit. Hold on. And they get on the online shit. And when you hear the conversations that coming over them online voice chat shit, them white kids be saying some of the illest fucking shit because they learning that shit in their homes. That's why they always flying the flags and shit, and they're talking about the Constitution and they know amendments and shit because these bitch ass people teach that shit. But then Bad Boy is back says, oh wow, says he had angel wings, says in the thumbnail, and he says OJ case had police tampering with evidence, says in a high-profile case against a white woman and a man. And that's where you had to where when you have, and it's just crazy that it takes for him to spend all that money, have a good legal team. And it's funny that people won't do their jobs unless you pay them a bunch of money for them to even know about the missteps that the LAPD's forensic team took in handling that motherfucking case. And then for them to dig for the shit they dug. And it was just simple as that. And for them to, and for the investigators to jump to their conclusion of already placing guilt and blame on OJ, and then to frame the case and swaying it where it just pointed towards one person, rather than pointing the investigation towards the community that Ann Nicole lived in. That's why I say, if anything, that OJ case needs to be opened back up. because there's somebody still living that killed both of those people. And the family of the victims is too fucking retarded. And the LAPD is too retarded. And the people of this society is too retarded to look that there may be a white suspect that has been allowed to get away, get his enjoyment of what he did to those two people. Because the person who did that shit enjoyed killing motherfuckers. And because of the flaws of Mark Furman, Dan Oden, whatever the motherfucking police detectives, I see one of them be still on YouTube talking about the OJ case. Yo, retarded ass fucked the case up. And as simple as that. Somebody in her community could have done that shit. And then Andrew Charles says he was seen alive on the island, says after his friends left him. So I heard, says, I don't know. Yeah, nobody knows because everything's just so thrown out there. Who knows? People can be out there putting out false information, lying, but they're saying they left him. Now, the autopsy needs to reveal that he was involved in a scuffle. He was punched on, he got lacerations here, he got cuts here. That's what they need to see. And then Bad Boy Island says, what a profound and articulate take. And then my brother Taylor Bell in the building, he says inconsistent stories because everyone was fucked up. Yeah, this is nothing but drugs, alcohol, and women around that shit. And of course these people ain't gonna pay attention to shit. That's why I be like crazy thinking that people think they're gonna hear stories that all just line up. Like the event wasn't about Nolan that they went to. This event was about these fools going out here having fun as summer closes. Some people getting ready to go back to school, and they just having fun. And it's unfortunate. Out of the crowds of people that there, that one person will end up dying. And out of all the people that end up dying, it happened to be a black dude who was hanging with white kids, and that's where people are gonna take it. So of course it opens up a big ass can of worms as to what happened, and it's down in Mississippi. Based on how many of us older people view this shit, younger people, not so much. They ain't looking at it like that. And Picasso says, we can create a fantasy, says, but we talking about a responsible adult. Says this dude Nolan says could have been targeted. Says could have been hated on. Says someone should have saw something. But maybe if nothing happened, then that's why nobody saw nothing. It's simple as that. As much as many of people are thinking like y'all saw them attack him, y'all saw them dump him, maybe that shit didn't happen. But now you got to figure out like, why wasn't this nigga on somebody's boat? Or was he on a boat and fell off the back of that motherfucker? Or was he, because I see so much irresponsible shit when it comes to boating. Why I would not fuck with boats people. I watched this shit. What's that shit in Florida? It's this shit called Hanover. It's this, hold on, let me pull this shit over. It's this shit, Hanover. I think that's even a nudist part of Florida and shit. But there's this shit, like I say, Red's a nigga who pay attention to everything, man. Let me see. There's this shit, it's called like the Hanover Inlet. Let me see. It's somewhere out there in Florida with the boat. And they got a channel dedicated to watching these boats. Here we go. To just watching people on boats. Let me show you this shit about what people do on these boats. And you have to pay attention to motherfuckers. Otherwise, somebody fall over. And if you're not paying attention, you never know who they fell the fuck off this motherfucker. This type of shit be going on over this shit. Look at this shit. This is the type of dumb shit that niggas do on boats, the irresponsible shit with people in boats. And this is just one of these inlets in out there in Florida. There's a channel dedicated to this shit. You be seeing people flopping up, flying out of these boats, doing all type of shit. Like I said, the one time, man, it was the one time when I was with an old chick I used to fuck with. We down in San Diego with her people that own the boat. And this nigga in there speeding across the little waves, the boat bumping. Some of the waves it hit hard. Man, it took everything in me not to fire on this nigga. Everything in me for me not to just walk over there and try to break that nigga eye socket. And it just had to try to play this shit off cool. Because I'm like, this bitch relative. We on his boat. We out here in the middle of the fucking ocean and where we down in San Diego. And this nigga out, because some people get in these boats and they do that shit trying to be funny. Some people want to scare. Everybody thinks some shit is some pranky ass shit. And you had these people with kids in this fucked up condition in these waters doing this shit. That's how this nigga was driving that boat I'm talking about. Doing that kind of shit. It was a fast boat and hitting waves like that. That's the type of shit niggas do on boats, homie. You ain't no telling, man. So I don't fuck with that shit. Couldn't dare get me going on a boat with nobody, man. And then, because people do bitch shit. And then Picasso says Mississippi is known for racial crimes against blacks. But don't act like I hate hearing that weak black shit, bro. I hate that shit with a passion. I hate weak black shit. Like black shit that sound like it's just, you just terrified of white people. I fucking hate that shit. Don't act like in Mississippi, black people ain't down there smoking white motherfuckers. Because they are. Then they act like it motherfucking white folks just got the power to just kill niggas because it's black niggas down there dogging white motherfuckers. Like, I hate hearing you niggas say that weak ass shit. Like black people like just the victims of white motherfuckers. Like, stop empowering that shit. He says, the world we living in, says the world we live, because it's more black people killing black people, homie. We ain't been victims of white people like that. We've been victims by each other, like a motherfucker. And that's a bigger fucking problem. What's up, Mark Nash? I see you in the building. Salute. He says the world we living in says don't be fooled by kindness. Kindness, and it ain't just kindness on some racial level shit. It's kindness of just fucked up people. Like I say, a lot of motherfuckers got Jekyll and Hyde in them, homie. Can't befriend everybody. And even some of these bitches that will, what's that motherfucking that shit, that poison shit. The bitch big butt and a smile, but the bitch is poison. Like, so many ways you can look at just that lyric. This bitch is a set you up. That's why I be saying, I be looking back on even my shit like about bitches. It probably was bitches probably thought about setting me up, but on the other thing, as much as I was cool, a smiley motherfucker, I think some bitches thought I probably was crazy and shit. Like something, because I'm always up to a bitch game. Like, wish you would try some shit. Wish your motherfucking ass would. Like, motherfuckers is crazy out here. It says motherfuckers definitely be playing on them boats. Says shit ain't funny at all. Yeah, I don't fuck with boats. But like I say, when I was with this bitch and her cousin driving that boat, it took everything for me not to want to knock this nigga the fuck out. Everything. Like, and I was thinking some devious shit to do. Like, don't play with me on this motherfucking boat. Like, we out here in this middle of this fucking water and shit. And they think it's cool just to go on the boat. Voo, voo. Like, man, I ain't cool with that shit. And to me, I don't do a lot of shit that bitches like to do any motherfucking way. So I was like, and that's why I be like, because that's why I be like, I like being single because I don't want to go be dragged everywhere a bitch want to go. Like, you weird ass niggas be doing this shit, going everywhere to sit. You niggas go out of the country to go do bitch shit, do shit that a bitch. Nah, bitch, you gonna come and do what I want to do. Like, fuck all that shit. Why have you bitches as stupid as fuck? You go down want to sit and dine with a bitch for her to show a plate with just her and the video just do this shit, go back, and man, bitch, you about to learn some shit with me. Fuck up out of here. And then Edgy Charles says, I remember partying on the lake, says when I was younger. Says the parents just as wasted as we were. Says I crashed a jet ski into a dock one time. Says while I was on acid. See, that's the type of shit niggas out there doing. This the type of shit, and I'm glad you honest about that shit. Because it be niggas out there on acid. That's the other thing with jet ski. You watch niggas out there doing little like risky shit with people on a jet ski. Some niggas flying on a jet ski, get close to a motherfucker, hit sharp turns, splash water on people. All that shit, man. It was some cats from in our neighborhood that hit. Wait, what's the dude? Yeah, the dude hit a nigga with his boat. Why this nigga on a jet ski and killed the nigga? And they all go out there to the lake together. Like, hits this nigga with a boat. Nigga, I don't know if the front of the boat is what cracked the nigga head or the propeller hit this nigga. And imagine that group that goes out there and you got to come back from that shit. There's all type of shit. So you don't know if it was accidental or nigga intentionally did that shit. But the shit that people doing, because you don't know people drunk on this shit. People can't go and have fun without being fucked up. So that's the other reason I don't be liking to go to shit like that. Because why I don't want to function, niggas don't know how to function like sober and shit. It's just like people gotta be in the influence of shit. People gotta be on something just to go out there and function and shit because they all fucked up. That's why I be like, I'm more normal than majority of these motherfuckers walk, because I can go out to a party, all that shit, and don't touch shit. I don't need that shit. But niggas be out here, gotta operate some shit. You high, drunk than a motherfucker, like, fuck out of here. And then you wake up, don't know what you did, wonder why you in handcuffs and shit. Costa says, when I grew up, says white people was not ready for black people, says, but we moved in anyway, says, but they sick the police on us. And you could have called the police back on. White people don't run shit. And I think niggas need to learn to start teaching motherfuckers that. But black people take these stands of always allowing these people to come at you sideways and shit, and you're not putting them in their motherfucking place. I even watch past the videos of some white lady walking up to some black people saying it's always the black people getting over emotional and not directly checking these motherfuckers, or a white dude doing that shit. Then it's over emotional, not checking motherfuckers. Why this shit persists? Because black people got these weak ass mentalities towards these people. But let a black person do half of this shit, can look at him. Black people ready to kill the motherfucker. And then he says, and then Andrew Charles says, Picasso says, why did they have to sick the police on you? And then Picasso says that Andrew, he says they were starting fights with us by calling us names. Says, so when we fought back, says they needed help. Says they were living in an illusion, thinking we were weak because their parents taught them they are better. Well, no, you did the right thing. You got every right to beat a motherfucker up, but you got to learn when you beating the motherfucker up of when to draw a conclusion to the ass whooping you put on a person. Some over emotional motherfuckers don't know when to stop, and they can be knocked out. They kicking niggas on the ground, punching on niggas on the ground. If that video releases, oh yeah, you damn right they have every right to charge your ass with a crime. And then Andrew Charles says, Picasso says I forgot you're from the old school. And he says early 70s. And then Andrew Charles says it's going to be hard to run for president in the future because there's going to be lifelong digital records of everything, kids being born today have done their entire lives. Well, no, it's not, because I think all that goody two-shoes shit that, you know how they bring up shit and then be trying to get people eliminated from running for president and all this shit, acting like we need to be ran by goody two-shoes, because ain't none of these motherfuckers who have ran be goody two-shoes at shit. And that's the thing I think people won't break away. You just gonna want people that's real. Like, so all this digital footprint shit these pussy ass people want to collect on motherfuckers don't mean two bits of shit. It's just gonna be less these, because they ain't doing nothing to these pedophiles. We got a motherfucking president here tied to pedophilic shit. And then, or maybe because he's a wealthy white dude, they protect and hide that info from him. But I don't think that shit's gonna hold anything back. I think people will come of a era of realizing shit. Like, man, we ain't looking for no goody two-shoe motherfucker. You need people who want to represent the people, because the other people they putting in here don't represent shit for the people. They represent their own personal interests and corporate interests. And Wall Street, well, I think Wall Street and corporate all go together. Andrew Charles says every text, every internet search, says every place they've ever been, etc. And what is archived. That's even like when you look at the cases where motherfucker searching for shit, bitch trying to look for, how do you get rid of my husband? How do you get rid of a crime? How do you do this and that? The motherfucking dudes, right? And how do I execute my wife without nobody knowing, and this and that? And then you think you got away with it, and then they be like, well, hold on. Investigator be like, well, hold on. Let's go retrieve that computer system. We did see a computer in the bedroom or in the office they have in the house. Let's retrieve that and see what kind of searches they had, because you almost get away with the shit. The crime they pulled off perfect. Now they go through your damn computer history and bam, voila, all that shit you deleted, they done found that shit and arrest that motherfucker. You're guilty of murder, death penalty, dumb motherfucker. And Picasso says you bring up a good point. Says if this was a white football player among black friends, says I believe the cops would have put out an Amber Alert, says plus confiscated the phones from each person on the boat. It's possible they would have done that shit. It's possible they would have handled it the way they handle this shit. And then he says I'm not throwing blame anywhere. Says, but I'm definitely not lowering my intelligence. Says, and looking over what is obvious. Yeah, no, but because we come from that age group, we come from that generation where we have to look at it like that. Well, history has taught us to definitely look at this shit like that. And I think it's good that they're putting pressure on these foods. But like I said, I don't think this is a racial related shit. I think it could be some old hoe ass kids this dude thought was his friends. Possibly not. It can be his own fault for chasing at the pussy and getting left. And who knows, trying to not doubt he'll try to swim his way across that shit. Or maybe he got in the water, went swimming and joking around. And that's the other thing that can happen. A motherfucker go out there swimming, looking for his boat, go underwater, could have caught a cramp, anything, went under, and nobody saw his ass go under the water. It can be some shit like that. Like I say, that happened to one of the homies who died at a lake. But they saw him because he went to go try to retrieve somebody's slipper and shit and went under the water. I don't think nobody went in there. I don't think the people around that knew how to swim, or they thought he'd come up. He never came up. And then even when I was a kid, that's why I've always been like, because one, I'm almost damn near a drowning victim and shit. So I always had a fear fucking with water like that. But when we were coming up at Jesse Owens, one of the kids who was like one of the top kids when I was a kid at Jesse Owens, who drowned at a party. That nigga drowned in a party around a bunch of people at a fucking pool party. This kid had to be, this shit was a long time ago. I could have, because he was older than me. He was older than me. This shit probably, I had to be 8 or 9 or some shit. So this kid might have been 11 or 12 when that shit happened to him. But he was one of the well-known stars up at Jesse Owens. Who knows? This kid could have definitely went to some top university, even been in the NBA. Because Jesse Owens was producing some when my homie dad was still alive, they was producing some hellified youth talent up there at Jesse Owens and shit. But this kid was at a pool party with a bunch of people and drowned. And everybody thought he was like playing because so much shit going on in these pools and shit. When you got these large crowds, groups, even at the water parks, I'm surprised more people don't die in water parks or even in the wave pools. You see it. They probably do drown a lot in the wave pools or having to pull people out. But people do drown a lot at water parks. I ain't going to say that. But where so many people are just playing around, flopping around, they in their own world, they not paying attention to you. You catch a cramp or water that went in your mouth, you can't catch your breath because you can't breathe fucking water. And now that shit clogging you the fuck up and boom, that's all it fucking takes and shit. You under that shit. That water ain't nothing to fucking play with, homie. And I think a lot of people take that shit for granted. A lot of people take that shit for granted. Even this stupid motherfuckers I be watching jumping off of bridges in the water. That's why I say when we went to camp, man, it was one time we at camp, I watched my brother, man, it took everything for me not to beat this nigga the fuck up. It took everything for me not to beat this nigga the fuck up. He out here doing a bunch of shit them white folks doing, jumping off of cliffs and shit. And we at this camp and shit. And then mind, the cliff they jumping off is rocks coming from out of this fucking, it's like when you go into some of these mountain areas, they have these little areas where water in and this little off trail shit that some white people discover and this fun little watering hole spot. Then it's a place to die, but it's rocks in certain areas. So you got to jump in certain spots or else you can hit these fucking rocks. And this nigga up there, this clip probably 40 fucking feet, if not higher. And I watch this nigga do that shit. Like, man, I'll tell him this nigga should do retarded fucking shit. And Acosta says, my biological brother was on the boat with me, my brother would not leave me alone on the island. And he didn't have no brothers. But it's always that you deal with the personalities of motherfuckers, man. It's always something you deal with, even amongst friend groups, you deal with the personality types. It's always personality type shit. I don't give a fuck. A parent can always say this and that shit, selling you selling. A parent will always sell their kid as the picture perfect type motherfucker. But everybody has a different fucking reality of you. And I think sometimes friends know more about your true character than your fucking parents do. And that's the thing that's a hard pill for parents to even swallow. Is that sometimes your friends may know more about you than your own parents because everybody presents themselves as a representative shit. You're around certain friends you trust and shit, you let down a lot of this made up shit you have to do when you're around certain adults and shit, because you have to be made up, walk on eggshells around these motherfuckers. Then you get away from them, and now you break out of your fucking shell, and it's certain character traits in you that are be like, man, this is a wild motherfucker. And then sometimes people love being around wild people. And then Angie Charles says there's always 2 or 3 people that die every year on the lake. Says on the lakes there I live. Or you meant the lakes where you live. He says, and usually one person drowns in the says in a curry jumping off a cliff. And I was just talking about that. Well, how long ago is this? Yeah, I was just talking about that shit with watching my brother do that shit. Man, I want to beat this nigga motherfucking ass for doing that stupid shit. Like, nigga, you always doing some stupid shit. I took everything, but I used to always, like, even when we fought younger, and I put hands on it. I never liked to fight my brother. I don't like fighting friends like that. But like I said, I was about to beat the fuck out. We was at camp too. Like, don't you ever do that old stupid ass shit, fucking dumbass nigga. Fuck you doing that shit for. And then it says motherfuckers definitely be playing on them boats. Says shit ain't funny at all. Says these girls be dropping roofies and robbing dudes over here. Yeah, that's the other crazy shit with bitches nowadays. Is bitches probably always done that shit. Or even in the cell phone era makes a lot of shit like real fucked up. That's why I don't like bitches being in their phone, especially you taking a bitch out. You take a bitch to a hotel. Bitches always in their phone, being sneaky in their phone. This is the thing. This digital age creates a lot of fuck shit that people can do when they doing little setup shit. If you ain't got no history in bitches, a bitch you just cracking off the streets, you trying to get laid, you in town for a few days, you crack a bitch, and you trying to just knock something down. This is the other shit you got to worry about with some of these bitches and shit. And trust me, I didn't grow up with some of the most scandalous of bitches walking fucking American soil. And I know the get down of a lot of these bitches. And I done fuck with all kind of bitches, from your project most ratchetest bitches to bitches who have high esteems and goals for themselves. And then and Acosta says I had that same situation with a guy, says he took me and the smaller kid on a boat, says on a boat ride, says, but he was hitting waves, says, and in the dark on the lake, says, I don't respect that, says, never again, man, I'll never go on a boat in the dark. But see, that's why I don't like to do shit with my, because that's some shit that make me, I'll probably want to kill you. I'll probably want to kill you. So I'll be, like I say, I know me and I know what the fuck I don't do. I don't follow people at all. Like, that's, man, I at night, fuck no. And Ocasio says, reason why I brought up Mississippi's reputation, says, not because of the movie Mississippi Burning, it's something going on with people's organs are coming up missing. Says also happened in Louisiana. See, I don't know how much the organ shit missing is. That shit come out a lot of these conspiracy theory group motherfuckers and these other people. I don't buy into that shit. Don't know much about that shit. That's some other shit to stir up conspiracy, stir up fear. I don't think a lot of that shit is true. And then the other thing is, if you're dead, what the fuck you need your organs for? So I don't buy too much into that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if when you die, they remove that shit anyway. I wouldn't be surprised they remove a lot of shit from you, but that don't mean they can use everything in a dead motherfucker. So it's like you got no use of that shit. You're dead. Like, so I don't know about all that organ farming and all that other shit. And then, but to reuse people's organs and shit like that, I mean, shit, because you done did some stupid shit, you driving drunk and you being a fucking idiot and you get yourself killed and shit. They fucking are able to hook you to a monitor. Yeah, they should be able to take your organs and reuse that motherfucker for somebody with some terminal disease and shit, waiting for a liver transplant and heart transplant. Yeah, give that shit. So I don't buy into people using the organ harvesting shit and all this other dumbass shit people come up with is meant to stir up people and cause this anti-governmental fear and shit. Like, I don't buy into that shit. But if you're a stupid motherfucker driving fast and you driving a pole or hit some other fucking other person and die and shit, and you're young and healthy, yeah, take the stupid motherfucker organ or any of that shit. Like, you got no use for it. This shit ain't gonna do no. You dead then a motherfucker. What the organ gonna do? Fucking decay. But I was surprised when they get you ready for the funeral and shit if they ain't already took all that shit. All that shit probably taken out of every motherfucker, but now they have medical use and even for life-saving uses of that shit. But that shit got to be crazy to even do that shit. A nigga heart, that's to me, that's some amazing shit, but some shit I want you able to rescue a heart, putting another motherfucker with some bad shit. That's even like, what's the OG cat weightlifting dude? It's your fucking set. What's that? Oh, damn, what's his name? Who watched the powerlifting shit? He had to do it out of Compton. And they got the he got some kind of world record, he said, but he be doing the weightlifting shit. He be like, show motherfucking set. Damn, what's that fool name? Fucking Fletcher. What's his name? CT Fletcher. Yeah, him. Even him. He got a organ transplant to save him. I think did Shaq Kid get a heart? Did Shaq Kid receive a heart? All that shit. So I don't have these views on the organ shit like that. And then my dad says I had a cousin that used to play in dive or this drive, says they used to play and drive wild, says and swerve on bridges, says thinking it was funny, says Todd yoked his ass up. Now I almost did that shit to one of the homies in here, drive this nigga get a motherfucking, I told that nigga, man, you gonna pull this car over, nigga, I'm about to beat you the fuck up. Nigga souped up a motherfucking car. This nigga driving crazy as fuck, swerving in and out of cars and all this other shit. We were out there on Van Ness or some shit, and it's over there by, for those who know what I'm talking about, on Van Ness near Holly Park and shit off of 120th and Van Ness. It's a railroad track on the other side. This nigga in there swerving between these cars, doing all this shit, and then hit this railroad track, and the car down there lift off the ground, hit down, and this nigga thought that shit was cool because the nigga going through some crazy shit. Like, that's the other thing, you don't know where niggas is at mentally. Do that shit when you're in the car by yourself. Like, you lose, and that's the thing that be happening, you lose control, and everybody in this car dying because of some other motherfucker. You had this shit happen with young people all the time. Crashing in the shit, killing everybody in the fucking car. Some motherfucker drunk, high, a fucking, what they call these people, junkies, adrenaline junkie motherfucker. Man, I ain't into that adrenaline shit. I don't do no stupid shit, homie. I don't do no stupid shit. The dumbest stupid shit I'm gonna do is chasing a bitch. That's about it. Into dangerous areas and shit. And then Andrew Charles says I've always been an excellent swimmer. Says, but some people really suck at it. Yeah, because I mean, most of us, a lot of people, and that's the other thing, a lot of people don't live near water. That's the other side of shit. A lot of people do not live in water. I think a small portion of world populations live more inland and away from water and shit. And shit, we ain't water animals. Shit, we land motherfucking mammals. And then Picasso says I was amongst my teammates in Brazil. Says about 6 of us. Says I drank 1 beer. Says and jumped into the ocean. Says and wave after wave. Says you have to dive over and over. Says but my friends were watching me. Says hoping they wouldn't have to save me. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. I would probably sit there and watch you drown. I'm not rescuing nobody that do no dumb shit. You have to drown around me. I will watch your ass drown. You better hope I have a cell phone, because the most you're gonna get out of me is a call to 911 and tell them, can you request that red helicopter the Coast Guard got, because this nigga drifting out the ocean. But I will watch you. It ain't my job after you do some old stupid ass shit to risk your life and think I'm supposed to jump in there and save you. No, you gonna die around Reds for being stupid. I would do the most I'm gonna do. Yeah, my phone got a signal. I'm gonna call 911. Do you need fire, ambulance, or whatever they be saying? Yeah, we need all that shit. Send your homicide team, send motherfucking an ambulance just in case this nigga wash back, and bring that red helicopter out. Because this stupid nigga got drunk and jumped in the motherfucking ocean, and I'm not helping. I ain't that good of a swimmer, and hell nah. Then fuck no, you lucky you lived during that shit. And you lucky you was with them Brazilian motherfuckers. And he says this situation I was in makes me believe his friends didn't watch out for him. Shit, your friends is fucking crazy. Your ass would have drowned around me. You've been swimming on your fucking arm and doing that dumb shit. Andrew Charles says when I lived in Peru, says they had beaches, says but the water had what they call the undertow. Says if it grabs you, says it would drag you out, says out into the deeper waters, says and then drag you under. Was it? I heard that shit used in this shit with this kid in undertow. Is that like debris under the water? Or is this like two different levels of current or some shit? But like I say, I almost drowned as a kid, thanks to a relative saving my ass, and that's always kind of been fearful of like the beach and shit like that. But I remember the one year we went to the beach with my folks' neighbors, and the homie dad used to always take us out to, damn, what beach was that? He used to take us to Hermosa Beach. He used to always take us out there, and so this one weekend he take us out there. And after this shit, he never, and I told this story before on here, this nigga take us out to the beach. And imagine he had to tell this story to this kid's parents, that kid would have died. Nigga, this kid get dragged, nigga, like, that shit had to be, man, maybe 4 or 5 football fields. And it's crazy. Undertow says another word for strong current. Okay, strong current. But yeah, they had, because I was watching this shit on today on the news, they was showing how they had on the East Coast beaches, they had 200 and something rescues because of rip currents, and then just in Los Angeles County, they had like 200 and something. That exceeded the whole East Coast, like 200 and something rescues from rip currents in LA County beaches. So it made me think about this dude shitting in this Nolan shit, man. When he take us out to the beach, they are mine. I don't go out that far. For me, then it was crazy because the lifeguard was telling us they're strong. Rick Current, he was advising us, the lifeguard, when he came over where we with the homie dad, they had advised us that we don't go too far out because the rip currents are strong. And he was telling us, I remember all this shit. This shit is over 30. Would that be 30 years ago? This had to be like 90. This is in 97 or something. That's almost 30 years ago. 97, 98 maybe. I think it's 97 when this shit happened. So when I remember lifeguard talking to us and telling us like the rip currents are strong, blah blah blah. Stay right here on this side of the lifeguard tower. If you feel yourself being pulled over, use that as a reference. I think I remember saying the rip currents will pull you out. The other way, he was even telling us how to what you do against the rip currents. You don't fight swimming, trying to swim back to shore. You don't fight the rip current. You say something, you swim at an angle. You swim to the side or some shit. Easy telling somebody that. These fools training this shit. So this dude, like they say, they playing. Them niggas, I remember seeing them niggas going back further. When water come up to my knees at the beach, I don't go no further than that shit. And the dude who with us was shorter than all of us. This nigga's short ass dude. Man, you just start noticing him, because I was noticing like the waves will pull you over. So we right here, nigga, you'll end up being way over there and shit. And then their dad had to tell us come back over. This nigga, that nigga name was Josh. He lived directly across the street. I don't know if Mike and CJ in here. He lived direct across the street from Drill. That nigga start going. He get caught in a rip current. That nigga start going like, nigga, it was nigga. At least to just not to over exaggerate. That shit may have been like 3 football fields. It could have been more than that shit. That current start pulling that nigga dad, the dude named Henry, he lived next door to Drilling him. He in there panicking. I think he tried to go out there. Nothing he can do. This water just dragging this dude, short ass dude, dragging his ass forward. Nigga, we get a lifeguard. The lifeguards, I think, went out there on like a jet ski type shit to go out and get this nigga. They had to rescue this nigga. We sitting in there fucking hopeless as fuck. And me, that nigga definitely fuck with me, because I am not going past the water, going past my knees at the beach. Nigga, you dumb. But nigga, I'm sitting there, mouth drop like, oh my fucking God, like what the fuck? And then they're just going back, man. They finally get out there, and I don't know if a lifeguard swam out there. I think some of them had the little jet ski shits to go and get this nigga. Man, that nigga Henry Hart had the fucking drop, because I say he never took us back out there after that shit. I'm talking, we used to go all the time to the beach with him. on the weekends when he's free, he's just going out there. He just load us up in his vehicle and drive us out the mine. This is he a Mexican, so me and my brother only black ones with him and shit. And he was just cool as fuck. But after that shit, and that was like, once again, that shit for me, that shit sparked up like some triggering shit. Cause like I say, ever since I've been a little kid, when that shit, the waves hit me at the beach, I always been kind of fearful of the beach. Like, so when it used to be years before I ever went back to the beach. When I was hearing them waves kind of like strike up memories with me and shit. So when that nigga Josh went back out there, was like, oh shit, this nigga about to die. And then the only thing I'm thinking, because I remember looking at Henry multiple times, like, what the fuck you gonna do? Like, and I'm thinking, like, damn, he gotta feel fucked up because he brought all of us out there. Like, oh shit. They brought that nigga. I remember Josh just collapsing on that beach, just laying there. Boy, that shit, oh my God. Lucky for them lifeguards to be out there. That nigga be dead than a motherfucker. And then because of the rip, man, that shit, like I hear rip currents, and that's why I be like, niggas. And matter of fact, it was a bitch who took her kid out there. She got out there with her kids, and the baby get drugged out there in the ocean. Like, it'd be a lot of people go on the beach just to be out doing shit and don't pay attention. People don't be using this shit at all. It's in the water, jumping around and all that shit, not realizing the power of that shit. You can die. Like, and around that water, ain't nobody going. A lot of motherfuckers ain't good swimmers, nigga. You about to die. Like, and then Picasso says, Hyphy the Picasso says, he says, don't nobody want to steal y'all organs. Says, you niggas smoke Black and Milds, drink Crown Royal, says, and got high blood pressure, says from all that Raising Cane's. Yeah, these fools be pushing out fear stories like they just killing you just to take your organ and shit. Like, and I don't think nothing wrong with organ donor, like I was saying. You dead, what you gonna use that shit for? And then Hyphy said, driving crazy like that in LA, says niggas will make catch a fade at a red light. Says you seen that movie New Jersey Drive, says sing how that movie New Jersey Drive ended. Then vividly, I've got to rewatch that shit. Like I said, I'm not a movie person like that. But shit, I've been seeing the stories in LA. They having so many deadly crashes and shit out there from people driving like fucking idiots. Taylor Bell and they're rolling. Probably me saying what I said about Picasso, crazy ass jumping in that ocean. And Picasso says, I'm talking specifically about the young high school student that was found under the bleachers. Says found under bleachers. Body stuff in newspapers. Says white father, 2 sons were caught. Oh, you talking about that dude was found he was found in the wrestling match or some shit. And who knows, he probably could have crawled in that shit or whether they did it. But once again, it goes back into this, a black kid at a predominantly white school. But then you don't put nothing past teens. Teens are some violent motherfuckers. They could have killed that dude. And then Andrew Charles says if you don't know what you're doing, says very dangerous to yourself, says to attempt to rescue a drowning person. Yeah, I would never do that shit. I watched my brother say, we was at this church camp. This some other shit with water. That's why I don't fuck with water. This nigga saved this girl at our church camp. And mind, we in the pool. Niggas wasn't even paying attention. This how easy it is for people to drown. Even I remember seeing this shit with my kids. My kids almost ran into the water and no adult stopped this nigga. And that shit just pushed me where I'd be like, man, I walked out of that shit because it took everything for me not to go to tripping like a motherfucker. But people don't watch people. But it's your responsibility to watch this shit. But we at this church camp up in Big Bear and shit. And fucking this girl, I don't know what she did, or I don't even know if she knew how to swim, but whatever she was, she in there struggling and shit. Like, I don't know what happened. Because they said sometimes people catch cramps in the water or what it is, or whether the girl got pushed in there. But whatever it is, nobody was jumping there to save her. She's just in there doing this shit. Going under the water. Coming up, going back under. And then my brother, I remember seeing that nigga run, jump in the water, and save that fucking girl. And mine was adults in the pool area and shit. But you know what adults do when they're around other adults? I see adults doing that shit at the park, but adults always got to blab, got talk all day, and don't nobody watch Don't nobody watch people around the most dangerous shit that young people can be caught up in and die from, and that's the fucking water. He's all talking. This girl in there drowning in front of everybody. That nigga in there able to grab that girl, swim her over to the edge, save her ass. The other shit, when I used to take my kids to the park, that's why I used to never like going to the park around adults or motherfuckers be wanting to talk. I used to tell people, man, hey, I'm watching my kids. I don't want to talk to you. None of that shit. Because that's the other side of people that try to walk up to you and talk. You could be in here for some other shit. I don't put nothing past people. You be for the twist to try to distract the motherfucker while the other motherfucker you in the park with over here to grab a kid. Like, stop talking to me. Or I make sure if I go somewhere with the motherfuckers and my kids can't go one here, the other one there. No, y'all gonna go in the same fucking area. So I can keep in one direction and looking at shit. That's why I used to never be into one to take them to the park and the swing areas. Like anything you gonna run around doing this and that. Cause so many weird ass people around this bitch. And so I've never talked to the adults in there. And they always had this look on my face like I ain't the one to approach. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, because you adults talk too fucking much. See the kids running all over here and there. It's adults probably in the park in the play area without a kid in that motherfucker. Right, motherfuckers. That's why you had that black dude recently whooped on that motherfucking immigrant dude to talk about tell his son to come in the bathroom. He'd give him $100. This type of shit at these parks. And Angie Charles says, undertow says is another word for strong current. Picasso says I was in my early 30s, says when I got in the ocean, says I go back in time, says and with my own ass all the way from the ocean back to the hotel. Yeah, that was some dumb shit you did. And you're lucky you still living. And then Angie Charles says rip currents is another word. Says another word for undertow. Okay, I got you. But yeah, that rip current shit, especially the beach, the lakes ain't the. I don't know. I don't think lakes is as strong as like the beaches and shit. That beach, the power of the ocean is not nothing to fuck with. And I don't fuck with it. I may like going to see the beach. If I go near the water, I let the water just hit my ankles and shit. Outside of that shit, that the water can't even go to my knees. Back when I was younger, I at least go up to my knees. Now my ankle is the furthest I go in the ocean. I'll marvel over the beauty and power of the ocean, but outside of that shit, I ain't getting in it. My kids can't get that far in it. Y'all can look at that shit too, but you ain't getting in it because I don't want you in a situation and I can't help you. Fuck that shit. You ain't getting in that shit. You can look at that shit, it hits your ankles, and that's good enough. Otherwise, you want to go swim, you go swim in a fucking pool. All that shit, people life risking themselves, like hell nah. Niggas, I tell you, we live in a society of some of the dumbest motherfucking people on this fucking planet, bro. I swear to God. And it especially says when I was young, around 12, says I didn't know swimming pools had deep ends. Says I didn't know how to swim. Says it decided to check out the deeper end. Says was struggling to stay afloat. Says and the lifeguard was just laughing. Luckily, he eventually came and pulled me out of the deep end. Now, you know what should be the craziest experience of pool was that Jesse Owens pool. For those who used to go to Jesse Owens back in the day, I don't hear people talk about Jesse Owens pool here in current, like presently, but back in the day, Jesse Owens had a pool that was very popular, community pool, especially around the area. But when you go to that pool, man, and this would be the shit that bugged me, man. And this is the thing I hate with motherfuckers is people in the pool just want to dunk people. I hate that shit. Like, keep your motherfucking hands up away from me, motherfucker. People all up on top of each other, want to be playing goofy ass games like, man, this shit for swimming. Get the fuck up out of here. People want to dive in the water. Then it's the other thing when you see people dive. When somebody dive in the water, and another motherfucker to go dive in the same area, they just watch the motherfucker dive and like you're gonna land right on top of them. That's why I be like, motherfuckers ain't truly friends with people. People be doing shit to pass off as accidental shit if they hurt you and shit. Like I be like, people got a lot of bitch in them, and I just observe shit. I observe a lot of shit I watch in footage and shit. Like people got a lot of bitch made shit in them. And they do a lot of shit to hurt motherfuckers and pass it off as some accidental shit. But I remember growing up, people stay with that. I used to never dunk people. That shit was done to me. Like, you don't know if people can swim. You just pushing niggas' head up under the water. Pushing people in the water, grab them. I watched that shit with pool parties and shit. Like, niggas is just, man, we got some retarded motherfuckers, man. And the hyphy says, since I've been cliff diving, what the hell was you writing? Says, I'm lost on that one. Oh, there you go. And then Silvestri says, after that, says, I never went swimming again. And then hyphy says, I've been cliff diving a few times, says, and we'll go again, says, but it's not going to be with no lice heads. He's talking about white people. Says, and a loved one says, show be notified, says of my whereabouts. I wouldn't do none of that cliff diving shit. You land wrong, you jumping off a cliff and your motherfucking ass get the tumbling. And imagine you jumping off a 50-foot cliff and your motherfucking ass belly flops. Man, I think you'll go unconscious from that shit. You belly flop, knock all that air up out of you and shit. That should be some of the most painful shit, because water, you hit water the wrong way, that shit is about equivalent or less than the equivalent of hitting concrete. You gotta break through water like fucking the spacecraft re-enter the atmosphere. Spacecraft coming from the moon and shit gotta hit this bitch at an angle, or else you gonna bounce off this bitch. That's the shit with water. Water will fuck you up. Like that, man, you crazy as fuck. You watch people dive off the cliffs and be getting scared at the last second to do all this shit, and they bodies turn out of the angle. Man, niggas is crazy. I mean, I just sit back and just will watch people, because I always be wondering with the mind, like, some niggas got really stupid ass brains, homie. Stupid as fuck. Andrew Charles says you have to approach the drowning person from behind, says, and underhook them. And underhook their arms. You know, and this is crazy talking about water, because I'll be watching this Titanic shit. I've been watching the Titanic. If I'm not watching 9/11 shit, Mount St. Helens shit, when it goes to like to pass like a tragedy or some natural disaster type shit. These are ones that I watch a lot. I watch 9/11 all the fucking time. I watch the Mount St. Helens shit a lot, and I watch the Titanic shit probably all this year. I've been watching Titanic a lot, even all this week. Been watching that shit, the Civil War shit, all this other shit. But so I'm watching the Titanic shit. I was watching another video I come across, and they were talking about, as the people on them lifeboats and the boats went down, they were speaking about how some people were ordering, like, let's go back, because of some people, they were hearing screams in the water and shit. And they were like, the people on lifeboats, come on, these old rich yuppie motherfuckers didn't even fill the boats up. So they like, we got to go back. Let's go back. And they was saying one of the people who was part of the crew was like, fuck that. She was tripping on everybody. And the other people was like, no, we can't go back. Like, man, these people are panic and flip the boats over. So they like, fuck them. We gonna save our own lives. Like, we ain't about to go back and rescue these people. These people are drowning. They got all that hysteria and fear, and they about to go through hypothermia, and they all clustered around each other. Like, no, they will capsize us and we'll be in the water. Like, here we safe and dry. We in these fucking boats. Like, hell no, we not picking these people up. Then I was listening to one of them. They said that one of the dudes came up with, we'll wait to, and this is logic. This is like some shit is a thing between being ethical, having a sense of morals, some humanity, and then on the other side is logic. Like, what do you do logic? Like, what outweighs and what is more right? So the nigga come up with like, no, we'll wait till we hear less and less of these screams. So it was a lot of screaming and all that other shit, and people been in that cold water. The fool was like, no, we'll wait till we hear, we don't hear any more of the screaming. That way we know a bunch of them died off. Therefore, we'll go in there, search for any survivors, then we'll pull them up that way. So therefore, it's less of a chance of these fools flipping us the fuck over. We'll just grab people we find them living and shit. That was some of the choices for the ones who went back. Majority of these yuppie motherfuckers wasn't there about to turn back and help anybody else and shit. But that was a crazy dilemma to be in. But yeah, like trying to save somebody, I always wonder about this shit. If you jumped in there to save somebody and they dragging you down because they in a panic and shit. And then and especially says ocean is a no-no. Yeah, that ocean ain't nothing to fuck with, homie. That ocean is nothing to fuck with. Some people ain't never been to the ocean because I say most people live inland and don't even live close to oceans. Like even the sound of the ocean, that's what always gets me, is hearing the sound of the ocean, that mighty motherfucking ocean. And then that's the crazy shit. And the Silvestri says ankle height, says maybe a bit more, says, and that's it. And then Mark Nash says it's a wrap, says cracked ribs and everything. Oh yeah, you talking about that cliff diving shit. If you belly flop from them kind of heights. And then Silvestri says if you're diving, says, and don't break the water properly, says it's equivalent to landing on concrete. Absolutely. Absolutely. You hear people breaking bones and all that other shit, hitting the water wrong, jumping from too high. Like people be doing stupid shit for adrenaline rushes. Like I'm glad I'm not an adrenaline rush type person. I think my brother had that shit. That's why I used to do the crazy shit he used to do. Or I remember even when they was young, they used to climb on my neighbor roof because they couldn't do it on our roof. My mom would have whooped this nigga ass. This nigga and a bunch of other homies used to. That's why I say niggas who know how to flip, I be thinking something wrong with you niggas. That's equivalent of being dropped on your head. But these niggas, when they start learning to flip, the niggas be doing cartwheels, learning to flip flop, and then doing backflips. It was one day we wake up and we out there on the weekend. I see the niggas climbing my neighbor. This is my neighbor where I watched the house where I watched my neighbor get killed. Where I almost get my ass killed in '99 and shit. But these niggas climb on their roof because they used to have in front of their house they had we even had that shit. They used to have like a big flat board where she set all of her plants. She used to have plants on her in front of the big picture window, and then it was bars on these side ones. So they'll climb on that shit, climb up her bars, go on her roof, and it'd be these three niggas: the homie Tremaine, the homie Terrell. These niggas like family to me anyway. And then my brother, niggas would climb on this late roof and start doing backflips off this fucking roof. I was like, man, these niggas done lost their fucking mind. All three of these niggas crazy than the motherfucker. And then that's why that backflipping shit is crazy. He says that Titanic movie says why I haven't been on a cruise ship. See, I like cruise ships. I want to go on that shit, but I'm lucky it ain't going around no icebergs. That's the only thing. They ain't going around no icebergs. And he says, yep, says they definitely have flipped the boat. Says a drowning motherfucker says will kill a person trying to save them by accident. Yeah, that's why you gotta let a rescuer or somebody, because it's fucked up. Like I didn't see shit to where a parent is trying to go in there into some water because the parent's stupid ass got their kids and family out on water and somebody drowning. Your natural instinct is go out there and save yours, and then everybody ends up dying. Or the parent may say the kids push them to shore or up on a boat or something, and they never come up, fucking around with that water. For what? I have no fucking ideas. The water that fucking important to retarded motherfuckers. And then Silvestri says apparently a lot of them died from the shock of submerging and freezing cold water. Yeah, that's what ended up happening to a lot of the ones who died, being in that water too long. Because I don't think you stay in cold water for what, maybe 5 minutes. If you got a strong system, or you gotta be extremely young to survive being in frigid ass water for fucking 5 minutes. That is a long fucking time to be in some cold ass water. Like I said, I've been intrigued by a lot of that shit, the history of that shit, and then the fact these niggas be going down there to go retrieve. Because that's the other thing. I was looking at the other video of the nigga who discovered the Titanic. That way he found that shit was interesting as fuck to me. That shit was some really interesting shit. The Titanic is intriguing as fuck to me. And then the fact that fool made that dope ass movie. He laid out a dope ass movie on the Titanic. Then Martinez says the actress Nyla Rivera says died that way. Says saving her son. See, I don't even know who she is. Let me see. Shit. And then the thing, Eldon Campbell just died from the water. Fucking Theo died from the fucking Theo Huxtable died in the fucking water. So this shit proving all of my points about this water shit. Like these niggas crazy as fuck fucking around with that shit. Man, ain't no motherfucking way. Like I said, you do some dumb shit. Oh, the nigga from Jurassic Park done died today. You do some dumb shit around me in some water. I'm sorry, you gotta die. You gonna drown around me. I'm not about to jump in there and save you. And like I say, I don't do water shit around my kids. You can't do no water shit around me. Like, nah. Let me see. Who the hell is Nyla? Is she black? But yeah, that fool Eldon Campbell died from that shit. Theo died from that shit. Oh, wait. This is that light-skinned chick. You know, I thought they said she committed suicide. Wait, is this her? Hold on. This the bitch I think was doing some dumb shit her damn self. Wait, let me see. She went out there by, this bitch is kind of suicidal. Yeah, I remember this bitch. She thinks she was on some suicidal shit, I believe. Let me see. Was she going out there doing that water shit and all that shit? Like, these motherfuckers crazy. And then you had that other bitch, just that porn star bitch. She disappeared. They, to this day, I don't think they found her. Let me see. Yeah, this chick, I think, did they ever find her? Confirmed that Rivera was presumed dead, says in the rescue efforts, was shit to. Wait, did they ever find her? You see, on July, they announced that a body had been found. So she was in the water. But when did she disappear? Yeah, is she the one that went out there by herself and they're going through her motherfucking what's that shit? I be saying a lot of chicks going through that shit where they going back through their healing shit. Maybe she had her husband, says she's going through some shit, had been found. So she was in the water for like 5 days. Hold on, there's this porn star bitch. Hold on. Porn star disappears at beach. Like a lot of these people be playing in that shit. What was this chick now? I forget her name, but that shit happened not that long ago. Where is this chick at? Damn, I can't think of this chick name, but I used to see her on Instagram and all that shit. Then her shit popped up that she ended up disappearing. Is that her name? Angela. Let me see. No, that ain't her. It was some other one. But yeah, these people be playing on that fucking water like it's a goddamn game or some shit. Man, that shit'll kill your ass. But yeah, like I say, Eldon Campbell died in that shit. Theo died in that shit. This chick playing around in that shit when she had her kid with her and shit. But I think she committed suicide. And in Picasso, maybe wouldn't put it past her trying to kill her kid. I think the kid was just on the boat. And then he says, as a teenager, says, I jumped off a diving board, says, jumped off a diving board up high, says, I jumped feet first, says, and says on the deep end, says, it's too much water, says, I did a flip off a garage, says, my neighbors was into flipping contests. He says, Malcolm Jawan Warner says a current pulled him. Yeah, playing in that water. But I think he tried to save somebody. I think Malcolm Jamal Warner trying to save somebody or some shit. Fucking around with that water. And Eldon Campbell, all these, man. And then when you see them when they pull a body out of the water, man, that shit is fucked up to die that way. Because that shit ain't instant. So imagine what's going through your mind to die that way. Like, man, niggas is crazy playing around water. I don't give a fuck they do got a boat. That's why I would never buy a fucking boat. I don't want to jet ski with motherfuckers. None of that shit. And he says, we started off flipping on a mattress, says fresh out the dumpster. He says Anna Nicole, says who Anna Nicole? Wait, what you mean Anna Nicole? Did Anna Nicole die in the water? Or Anna Nicole died on some drug shit? And he says, Costa says, looking back, says, I see why my mom was so mad. Says we didn't think it was anything wrong though. And then he says I Googled the stats on human deaths by animal and reptile. Says it's a crazy number. The hell you couple with the animal and reptile shit. Oh, you seen that stupid ass old white dude get flipped 20 feet in the air by that bison and shit? He said saving his daughter. Oh, talking about Malcolm Jordan. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he jumped in the water saving somebody. I probably would have to do that shit, but man, I would not put myself in that situation. I would not. Like I see people rent yachts and then the yachts, circle off a certain area. They be in there swimming in the middle of wherever the yacht's parked at. Like, fuck no. that y'all better come with some lifeguards because I can't help you. Man, oh my, people in this water shit is like, is it that important to be in the middle of some deep ass water? And then you be find out some of them lakes be like hundreds of feet deep. Like niggas don't know how to have fun. I be thinking I think some people just don't care. That's what I really be thinking. And oh man, fuck that shit. Niggas is crazy out here. Y'all trying to find out this let me see. Porn star dies at beach. Let me see. What was this bitch name? Hold on. Annie Pauly. Wait, hold on. Don Nathalie Rea. No, this is in California. Yeah, I can't find it. I gotta probably put in the right search. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I think that shit was like a few years ago. This chick disappeared. Damn, what is this chick name? Some of you porn watching motherfuckers know who this chick is I'm talking about. Niggas be on here faking like they don't watch porn and shit. Everybody acting like a saint. Y'all know exactly who this broad I'm talking about. Oh, wait, let me see if this is her. Let me see. They showing a bitch name. Kylie Page. Who is she? Wait, no, that ain't her. Because a lot of these porn bitches be getting killed too. So that's why it's showing me all these other chicks' names and shit. But I figured it was that one chick. She went, I think she may have been suicidal, just walked out there on the beach and had herself drowned and shit. Like these people out here crazy, homie. But I just never understood the need to want to be around water like that. I just never understood that shit. He says, since they were already in the water, and got pulled further out. Man, fuck all that jumping in the damn water, man. He says, what was it her? It says Olivia Nova. Hold on, let me check if that's her. This chick was like a Hawaiian looking chick. This chick like Hawaiian looking chick. Let me see. She was a Hawaiian looking chick. Let me see. This name don't ring a bell. Let me see. 2018. I think this chick died in the 2020s or something. Now, let me see a picture of her. No, that ain't her. No, this is like the girl you showing is a white girl. No, this girl was like a Hawaiian looking chick. She was like more Hawaiian or something. But she'd be in video, she'd be in porn movies with black folks and shit. I forget her fucking name. She was even on Instagram and shit. She started doing Instagram and shit. She was kind of buzzing on that shit for like just regular content. And he says I only know Pinky and Cherokee. Man, it's a lot of bad bitches in that porn shit. The black bitches, a lot of them. Shit, that's the only ones you know. That means you young and shit. And he says, "What about pools? Man, I don't fuck with pools like that neither. Like I can't even tell you the last time. This how much I don't fuck with water like that. I can't tell you the last time I've been in a fucking pool. Shit, to be honest, I don't even know the last time I got in a fucking pool. Shit. Last time I've been in the fucking pool. Let alone a deep one. I can't even tell you when the last time I got in the pool. Damn, I can't. That shit's been so long. I've been away from water. And I know I can swim, but I ain't that great of a fucking swimmer. I can swim, but I can't tell you the last time I've been in the fucking pool. It was even this shit where me and the homies was talking about when I was in the Army of trying to go through the Ranger selection program. And when I found out them niggas was doing, because even before this Ranger shit, when they had to where the Army was doing, in my unit, they was doing this where you had to do this survival shit, this water survivor shit. This is how much I don't fuck with water. And we're supposed to be doing this shit where they teach you how to use, like it's with your BDUs on the for people who ain't been in the military, the combat uniforms they wear. So they teach people how, if they're in water training, how to use the BDUs as a flotation device. Like that's why in the BDUs they had them the little drawstrings where you can tie up at the bottom around your ankles and shit. You lace your boots tight and something you do with your uniform. I never went to that shit. When they were doing that shit, I will always find my way of slipping out of shit. And I avoided doing that shit. And so even it was mandatory training for that shit. Me, like I said, I used to know how to get a lot of shit in the Army. I slipped out of all that shit. Even when I was supposed to be going to get dental shit, I remember in basic shit I was supposed to be going to get, because they always pull wisdom teeth out. I go down to that, act like I went down. I go walk down there. It's even in base training. Walk down there, or the drill sergeant escort us down there, and I'll leave out of that shit. Wouldn't get shit done. And that water training shit, we had to do that shit, man. I got out of that shit. So I never took that damn water training shit in the Army. Never did that shit. I was not fucking with no water shit. So like I said, we had a dude from the Korean Army. This fool was from I guess the American Army I think they call them rock soldiers. They let the Korean soldiers, I guess, join our army. I don't know how this dude was in our army, but that nigga went to the Ranger selection program they was having at Fort Hood. He made it to that shit. That's why I never seen that Korean dude went off to Ranger school and shit. I remember me and a homie talk about this shit to join the Rangers, but when I found out they had to do that water training shit, all that shit of doing that shit, man, that shit, them aspirations died right then. I ain't doing no water shit. But going back to that water training shit, nigga, I was like one of the only niggas in our unit that didn't do none of that shit. I found a way out of not going to that shit. And he says, but I can't even tell you the last time I've been in the pool. I do not even remember. The last time I remember being in the pool was with my old bitch at the motherfucking gym. That shit was, I know I've been in the pool after that shit, but I just cannot tell you the last time I've been in the pool. I do not know that shit. Like I say, I don't fuck with water like that. And then Picasso says, let alone a deep pool. And he says, my way of having fun says watching a movie, says, or Call of Duty, says, which I haven't played and played PS5 in a minute. And he says in the ocean, says I'm only going knee high, says maybe waist high top, says too much wildlife out there in the ocean. Man, shit, the water's just too strong in that shit. And then shit, don't talk about fish, let alone a water with fishing is a no-no to me. But the ocean, the fish in that bitch is whales, sharks, seals, and big ass fish. I do not swim with goldfish in the water. Fuck nah. So let alone, that's another reason I don't fuck with. I ain't even talking. When I'm talking about the water, so I ain't even thinking about the life that live in that shit. Let alone I see a fish in that shit is over with. Hell nah. Oh, matter of fact, I was getting in the ocean. Damn. That's probably the most I've been in the water was in Hawaii in that water, but I didn't go to no pools or no shit. And once again, my rule is about knee deep back in them days. And then Costa says I don't remember porn star faces. That nigga lying. And then Mark Nash says no water parks either. Says those slides are crazy. Yeah, no, I done walked off a water slide. Once again, I had a bitch. This bitch is a water baby or something. She loved doing shit around the water. I remember walking up one of them slides. Man, you talking about that? I ain't got no shame in that shit. Man, I turned right the fuck around. Like, I ain't going down this shit. Like, you do this shit on your own. Like, in matter of fact, me and her went to Hawaii. I remember she want to go skydiving. Bitch, I'm not doing that shit with you. Like, fuck no. That's how I ended up going to Pearl Harbor. This bitch wanted to do all type of little stupid shit. Like, bitch, fuck no. That bitch went home, mother wanted to go skydiving. This bitch had all time. But look, I used to love that bitch because she gonna pay for everything. That's why I had this belief system of I don't do that tricking shit. That's why I said when a bitch like a motherfucker, she gonna do for you. But she wanted to do skydiving. Hell no, I'm not going none of that shit. I'll drop you off where they doing that shit. Let me see. She had her friend. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I took the rental car we had, dropped her off at that shit, and took my ass to Pearl Harbor. Like, shit, I ain't going to no motherfucking skydiving. And then we went to, what's that, Hurricane Harbor, wherever the fucking water park we at. She went to, going up that high ass slide. Like I turned right around and left their ass like right at the front of the line. Like I'm not going down this shit. And then and he says, yep, says I remember that training, talking about the military training, says you slap the water, says you slap the water with the jacket, says to make a bubble. And he says the trap air says makes a flotation device. Says they're called K, what is that? Katusas. Says, oh, you talking about the South Korean, you talking about the Korean military cats. Yeah, I remember hearing that word, but I think they were saying he was in Iraq, but I think that is a word, the Katusa, for them Korean soldiers and shit. Yeah, that nigga, the one we had in our unit, that nigga went on to become a ranger and shit. And Wakasa says I just watched Man of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. Says deep dive and rescue. Yeah, me with water is a no. I ain't doing none of that shit. Now something happened to you on land, then yeah, I'll turn into a hero. I definitely try. I'll help pull it, unless you do some dumb shit. I'll help pull a nigga out of a car and shit. And but outside of that shit, if it's accidental, but when I see people do dumb shit, I ain't about to help you. I remember one time we get out the car, I watched this nigga crash into a fucking what's that shit called? He crashed into a fucking box truck. Stupid nigga ran a light in the box truck, T-boned his car. These fools. This fool, I'm on my way to work and shit, and fucking this nigga car starts smoking. And matter of fact, the nigga was knocked out. And I remember getting out. We run across the street. I dragged this nigga out the car. The other nigga in the car, he in there fucking drunk, but he trying to run away. I think his ankle or something broke. And I held them niggas down. I seen them niggas was drunk, man. I was like, hell no. Nah. I'm about to keep this. It wasn't like gonna get away, but like I'm like, nigga, you going to jail, nigga. Fuck you. I held this nigga down. Then then you talking about leaving your homeboy over here, don't know where the fuck up. He's unconscious and shit. Like, no, you niggas going to jail. Fuck you, retarded motherfuckers. Because you could have killed somebody doing that shit. And then fucking when the police got there, I just got in my car, left, went to fucking work. Like, but all that shit, fuck you. I remember seeing it. Matter of fact, I didn't go to the car because I knew I was at the train. That's why I used to catch the train in Long Beach. I'm right there on PCH and Long Beach Boulevard. In a car, I forget what they did, because I wasn't paying attention. You just hear, boo, and the truck flipped. No. Did I watch that? No, I think the car ran into the back of the truck. I think I did see that shit happen. I might have caught it from hearing the boom. You watch the car slam into the back of a pickup truck, and as he's driving, that shit flip over and shit. So before I can leave the train platform, everybody leave because you see that shit, and you know the people hurt. Run up over there and shit. And when the people who was already over on that car, you just watch some of the people walk over that shit and they do like this shit. So I'm like, that scene fucked up. Me, I don't want to go over there because some people be wanting to see dead motherfuckers. Man, I just already knew not to go see that shit because everybody looked in that shit, get the same reaction, like grimacing, like, oh, they dead in this motherfucker. But I say just watching people do dumb shit, and especially once that cell phone shit. Once the cell phone shit start to pop, you start really seeing that distracted driver shit. It's all in their phone, getting the text, not looking at the road, look up, look down. Man. And he says, yo, you left. Yeah, I left that. You talking about that water training shit. I didn't even go down to that shit. I forget how I slipped out of even going to that shit, but I remember not doing. Then they'll put me up to where I missed that one. They'll put me up on other ones that they'll do. I avoided doing all of that shit. But anybody had me in no fucking water. And then he says that's how y'all broke up. Wait, who broke? Oh, with the chick? No, that chick still fuck with me. I broke up with that bitch. That bitch used to like to get drunk. That should be the thing with that bitch. She'd get drunk and then be doing the belligerent shit. I can be driving in a car with her. She'd do that stupid ass swerving, moving in and out of traffic. We go out somewhere. She got to always have drinks and it'll be enough for me to cuss that bitch the fuck out. So it's just certain shit building up that I began to not like about her. So it's just like, regardless, she's pretty than a motherfucker, bad little bitch. But as far as like I can give a fuck how gorgeous a bitch is. If your motherfucking attitude fucked up, your way you get down, the way you handle yourself, the way you handle if you do drink, I couldn't fuck with that shit. So it'd be like always like like having to cuss that bitch out. A lot of bitches I've been with, what breaks the relationship is their behavior. And if it's a behavior that I gotta cuss you the fuck out, and then and then when I cuss you out, you gotta do all that emotional crying shit, like that's gonna make me soften up, and it ain't. It's gonna make me, that crying shit just makes me like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I got no empathy for that shit. You know, they be thinking, because they think that shit weakened to do, like you gonna hug them and all that shit. Bitch, I do not want to touch you. I get 2 fucks about that crying shit. So they do all that, doing all that shit. They should be like, over time. That's why I broke up, not from that skydiving shit, but I'll be like, this bitch be doing a lot of stupid shit, like some dumbass shit. And he says, you went to Pearl Harbor, says, while she was skydiving, says you didn't even wait for her to land, says you bogus. Shit, like I said, man, I don't tag along with bitches, bro. Man, fuck no. I've been fucking with, I need to tag along with. That's some shit I don't want to do. Imagine we both fall out there. Now, the one thing I did with this bitch, and I was like, to where I'd be like, hell no. I remember going to Six Flags where they had that. This is why I never not to do this shit. But at this, damn, well, we in Hawaii. Was it Hawaii? It was some shit. I did that parasail shit with her. And the whole time I'm up there, I was like, no, the first thing I did with her one time was at this is in Utah. Because this is a chick I talking about where her fucking cousin was at the damn party, that white girl they had that big ass reward for, Elizabeth Smart, where the white dude in Utah kidnapped her, and her cousin, because she got white cousins, her cousins at the fucking this little punk rock little rave at somebody's house, and that weird ass dude that kidnapped Elizabeth Smart got her in that shit, got her at this function dressed in pilgrim religious attire and shit. He in there talking crazy religion. All these people thought, why is this weird motherfucker in here? And in a picture that hit the newspapers, here's Elizabeth Smart in this attire, and her cousin Elizabeth Smart right behind her cousin. There's like $1 million reward for her and shit. So that was in Utah when we on that fucking, they do them things at the theme parks where you laid in this little sling, you lay flat. No, that wasn't in Utah. This is in fucking Six Flags. This is in Six Flags in Magic Mountain, where you lay flat. It was 3 of us, and they pull you back. And then they release this cable. So when we going up and they dragging this fucking cable back, my whole mind just racing. And if I'm scared, you ain't gonna never know. But in my mind, I'm terrified. I'm like, what the fuck? I let this bitch fucking convince me to go on this stupid ass shit. And I mean, this motherfucker going high as fuck. Then they fucking released the whatever lock to that cable that got you pulled back, and you just swing. Oh shit! Oh, this crazy bitch thinking this shit fun. I said, oh fuck no. And I was just like, man, if this cable fucking snap, like in my stupid ass on this shit with this bitch, I'm just thinking like how bad that shit gonna hurt. Then in that Hawaii shit, I did the parasailing shit with her. And I ain't think it'd go no further than that shit. Cause I'm like, while we out there doing that shit and they pulling us in this shit all high up, I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I'm just gotta play off like I ain't scared of this motherfucker. High as fuck. And I seen even one of them shits of a video of a lady falling out of that motherfucker. They high up and died. I'm on this shit like, man, I was like, this is it. I said, I ain't doing no more shit like this with this bitch. I don't give a fuck if this is a vacation. I ain't doing this dumb shit. Then this bitch talking about she going skydiving. She about to book us a skydiving. I said, don't book. You can book that shit for yourself. I'm not going on that shit with you. You can go by your fucking self. I don't want to see that shit. I like that shit drew the line with me. Like you bitches do too much crazy shit. And he says they're all rock soldiers. Says, but the ones on our bases that join, says, and train with us are called Katusis. Says usually come from rich families. Because speaking English was the requirement. Yeah, so he might have been because when you said the word Katusa, I recognize that word. And then he says they like being with us because it was easier than what they had to do with the Rock Army. And Picasso says no more talking, so no more taking risks. Says just for the fun of it. Says I don't like too much of anything anymore. Says I'll take a risk going to work each day. Says vacations are dangerous too. So dangerous fuck too, man. Because I was thinking about taking my kids to like the amusement park, but I was like, I ain't riding no roller coasters with them. I ain't rocking with none of that shit. And then says all South Korean men says had to join. Yep, that was true. They what does they call that kind of conscription and shit? Says all South Korean men says had to join for 18 to 20 months. Says, but if you could speak English fluently, you could be with the U.S. soldiers. And he says, oh man, says I dated a bad chick, says, but was straight, but was a straight alkie. Says she would get drunk and start crying about her life. Says the unaccomplished goals. Says she was Air Force b-ball player who blew her knee. Says who blew her knee. Yeah, I couldn't stand that shit. Like with the bitch drinking. I don't like bitches that get high and shit. Cause I be thinking like, man, you don't want a bitch like that. You knock her up or some shit, and your kid is growing in a womb like that. Like I don't want that shit. I never thought any of that kind of shit was cute. Like for a bitch to be my bitch and she got problems like that, or bitches that's over emotional. Like you don't know how to control your emotions. You cry too much. Like a baby will come out with some kind of mental health disorder from an unstable bitch. Like no, like. I'm cool on that shit, but the drinking and shit and acting crazy, driving crazy, like, nah, bitch, it ain't too much. It ain't too far. We gonna go with shit at all. And I hated to let the bitch go. She was a cool bitch. She would do shit. She really dug me and shit. But after a while, it was like, man, it's only so much digging we can do, bitch. If you don't know how to fix yourself and change shit, like. But even to this day, I think I had a lasting effect with her. Like I say, she compliment on everything that motherfucker done for, and that's been years, decades ago since we stopped fucking with each other. And then recently, she done wrote and told me that shit. But all that shit, like I say, that belligerent attitude, like, cause it's bitches like that will lead you where you gotta smack a bitch like that. Now I'm not with putting hands. I'm a no contact motherfucker with a bitch. I will cuss you the fuck out, and I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna say some fucked up shit to hurt you, and you gonna cry, and I'm gonna ignore your crying because that shit, you ain't about to flip your crying and emotional shit and think it turned into hugging and now you the victim and shit, and I'm wrong and I need to feel sorry, and then you want to turn in like I'm supposed to fuck and get like, hell no, bitch, I don't want nothing to do with you. I may not even want to talk to you for a whole week. And then Picasso says, remember Left Eye died on a vacation. Says, and she was going through mental health shit. He says, Alia, he talking about, this is how this nigga spelled a Leah name. He says, Alia, he talking about Leah died in the plane. Yeah, Leah and them died because they was overloading they motherfucker. They thought it was important to stuff all they fucking belongings onto a plane that couldn't carry all that shit. And that's on the pilot for allowing them that shit. It says skiing accidents. Says parachute accidents, hot air balloon accidents. Says I'm learning some things are unavoidable. Says stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yeah, I don't be trying to do none of that crazy shit. Like I said, I leave a bitch like for like trips. I don't do bitch shit, but I watch people do shit that bitches like to do. Like I'm cool on that shit. Like if I'm going somewhere like bitch, I want to find discovery. I want to learn shit. I've always, even at a young age, I've been like that. Like I ain't about to be dragged to no shit like or going out and being with a bitch friends and toted under this bitch arm like a little puppet. Like, man, get the fuck out of here. Chick, you want to do girl shit, take your homegirls with you. Now you want to do some shit that we gonna learn from, let's do that shit. Outside of that shit, or to show one another off and act like man, I ain't in here to show off, or you showing it, and this other shit chicks be doing to try to show their friends that they got a man and shit like that. Like, get the fuck up out of here. I ain't tagging along for no motherfucking art as an art exhibit for you. It ain't your motherfucking muse. Like, but all that dangerous shit and all that, like, fuck no. Doing boring ass shit, sitting in front of plates and trying to act all high maintenance and high skill, eating that fancy restaurant. That shit is played the fuck out. I'm just too real for shit. I'm too real to be on fake shit. He says that Elizabeth Smart is crazy. Yeah, her cousin was at this function with Elizabeth Smart. That nigga was, and matter of fact, that nigga dead. Matter of fact, how'd that fool die? Both of their brothers died. Both of them motherfuckers died. I think why we talking about water? I think that nigga may have drowned. One of them drowned and the other one, out of sorrow for that shit, ended up committing suicide and shit. But yeah, both her cousins are dead. And then he says to let wife off. Oh, says they let wife off easy. For the dude that kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. The lady was with him and shit. But that was some ill shit for that nigga to kidnap that girl. I think it was living out in the wilderness and shit, and then to bring her to a house party function. Because like I said, when I went out to Utah with her, I went to one of them damn punk rocking shits. And I don't know if them kids are being fake because all they at this little, because that once again, going with her and tagging along, like, I'm at this shit with all these white kids. I'm the only black motherfucker in this motherfucker. And this back because I had size on me and all that shit. This back when at the height of me working out and shit. And I'm the only black nigga in this show. I don't listen to no punk rock, but she want to go because she with her white side and her cousins adored her, admired. She want to go out with her, take her cousins out because we in town and tag me along. Plus, because I didn't want to stay, because where we staying at was her grandmother's house. Her grandmother's old white lady. It is even funny when the first week was there, I'm standing outside in front of her house and shit. And her white neighbors just see this black, they probably ain't seen a black motherfucker in that motherfucker since that lady been living there. So here I'm standing out, her neighbors called her. And white lady neighbors called her. They see my black ass out there. But so I didn't want to stay at the lady house because it's late. She going out with him. So I was like, fuck, let me just tag along with this chick. And she go with her cousins who heavy in this punk rock and shit. And so we at the little first we go to a little club they had. They went to some club, they in their punk rock. I'm like, this bitch here, man. Like, man, just I'm in this motherfucker. Like, I don't like nothing about this shit they playing. These niggas acting like they anti-skinhead. That's all I kept remember hearing them niggas talking about the skinheads and this and that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And fucking, it's on you. They, like I say, even the white kids probably never say we're in the middle of Salt Lake City. Then they complain about how the Mormons run everything because they was talking about how their beer content was like low. The alcoholic levels in beer in Utah was like, what is a beer alcoholic level? Like 6% or something, 8%. And Utah was like 2%. They was talking about like how this, that's how I remember them dudes complaining. Years ago. And then they leave from there. Once that club thing shut down, they go to some other people's house, some rich kids, because it's in a big ass home. Some bunch of rich kids, a bunch of people gather at this house. This bitch want to go with her little cousins. And I'm sitting like, once again, I'm the only black motherfucker in here. And my whole mind is like, this is why I don't tag along with bitches. Like, here I'm going to this shit. Like, oh my God. Like, and just trying not to fuck the mood up. But I'm like, man, I do not want to hear this stupid ass punk rock shit. It's like, damn, dude, this bitch. I'm like, dude, this bitch get when the fucking leave. But I'm like, I could have stayed at her house, but I don't want to stay at her granny, like 70, 80 years old. Don't know me from shit. And I'm just not cool with just being at somebody's house. You just there, like fuck no. Like, and then we're in Utah, like fucking, oh my God. Like I say, man, I can't tag and follow bitches, homie. I just don't do it. Yeah, I just don't do it. I can't do it. If we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it together. It's minimal and it ain't gonna just be girly shit. And then Casa says, since I don't get on no more roller coasters, says since I did the Texas giant old ass wooden coaster, says what is that supposed to be? Says Then there broke my back. Says someone grandma fell off the same ride. Yeah, I don't fuck with roller coasters. I don't know if as I got older, nigga, I done got more cowardly about shit I used to get on. Cause I look at shit from a safety standpoint. Young and your brain don't work, yeah, you'll get on all this shit. These niggas experimenting the test and shit. And then even some years, I remember as a kid, I remember that motherfucking at Knoxbury Farm, that motherfucking boomerang, that little safety latch shit they put on you. I remember this shit not locking, this shit coming unloose. And I'm going, who we went? I think the church took us. We went with the church. And lucky that shit, because they buckle you in. It's the buckle part go between your legs, and then that shit. This motherfucking shit was coming loose, or maybe I was too small, but I remember that motherfucker freely moving and shit. And then it's doing that shit, got loops in it and shit. Because Knott's Farm got a bunch of these halfway roller coasters. They got coasters that ain't full, like start from the platform, go all the way, circle around, come in. Knott's Farm got roller coasters that go forward, go through a loop, go up, and then the motherfuckers roll backwards, and then they'll come back forward and stop at the stop. Like, man, I was like, hell no. So I start getting leery of, but even after that, I'm fucking, because like I say, nigga, young, years later, go back to another amusement park, enjoy that shit. But then once I start thinking more consciously, like say, the first time I checked out of some shit was at that water park, was with her ass going up that slide, and then looked down that motherfucker and was like, hell no. And I mean, that the walk up this bitch, I walked all the way to the top of that shit. That shit was so high to fuck up. I'm like, ain't no way. Nigga, I had no shame walking back down that ladder. I ain't fucking with it. Hell no. Bitch, I'll meet you at the exit of this motherfucker. Like, I'm cool on that shit. Like, that shit is a no-no. And this shit, and then this bitch used to be crazy. This bitch she used to be bad. I remember used to be bitches wanting to fight her. Because this chick will wear some revealing ass shit. Nigga, mine, we at the water park. Do I got a picture of this bitch? This bitch in this motherfucker in like G-strings, nigga. The booty cheeks is out. Then this chick will wear some crazy shit. And bitches used to be wanting to fight her, nigga. She used to be cold with it. That bitch out there with the booty out. Man, that motherfucker, because you know, some chick, when they be bad, they be just wearing the most revealing shit. And then it used to be at a point like that. That's why, like, man, I couldn't make no wife out of this chick. This bitch just go off the board with just having no standards and presentation. Like, as a bitch, yeah, I'm gonna rock with her as a bitch. Cause I'm like, yeah, this one I'm knocking down. But then again, you can't do that shit because it'd be like, bitch, open herself and be letting somebody else knock it down. But that bitch, well, I'm talking about, we was at the I think it was like 3 bitches had shit to say to her, like, because they were with it'd be chicks with their family, they kids and shit there. Because I think even staff had to tell her, like, you need to put something on. Man, do I got the pictures of the bitch out there with the booty cheeks out? And then it was another time we in Catalina. And then we at the Catalina, she wearing some fucking bathing suit top. This is how she get breast implants. And you can see through this shit. So see, young, I always remember this little young white kid, and mom just laughing like get you a look. We going on the fucking Catalina. They had the little submersible. They like fake submarines. It's just a part you walk down the stairs and they got the windows underneath. It don't go all the way down. It makes it seem like you're on a submarine, but it's the top part that the boat's still up there. They act like it's submerged. It made that shit dip a little bit, but then it's seats and you can see in the glass. The whole time we there, it's a little white kid in there. He probably seeing titties from a pretty bitch for the first time, a young little kid. He just in the whole time staring at her. That little nigga couldn't keep his eyes off of her. I would have been doing the same shit, like you seeing through her bathing suit, titties and shit. And that chick will be wearing that shit. Picasso says, I can't understand why people get high off dropping from cliffs. I don't get that shit neither. Man. But some people got drug addictions, man. The whatever that chemical in their brain, they be needing that shit. They get high off that shit. I think people who skydive got that same issue. People who like to go fast got that issue. Or if they ain't doing that shit, they like to get high and shit. They brain need that whatever that was, that dopamine or whatever that shit released to the brain. They need high quantities of that shit. And then Mark says, oh shit was cold. Yeah, no, that chick used to be, she was bad than a motherfucker. But outside of her like character flaws, like I had to let that bitch go. I cut her off. That's like I said, I used to talk to this little Korean. This be a Korean girl at work. This chick barely knew English, but we'd be talking. And fucking, I'd be like, maybe all the times to be contemplating this shit when I used to drop this bitch off at work and shit. And I'd be like, man, it's just starting to come down a point where like this bitch getting on my nerves. Like everything she be doing just irked me. Like, and I'd be like, man, because I'm not a fucked up person, but I can be. So I be trying to hold off not to be fucked up. And I used to be like contemplating, like, damn, I gotta tell this bitch, man, I'm cool on her. And then matter of fact, because the same chick I'm talking, that's the one who socked me in my eye. And I used to be like, man, contemplating telling her I'm cool on her and shit. Like, but I'm like, no, I don't want to hurt her because I'm like, man, this chick really do care for a motherfucker. She be doing shit. She a little bad bitch. She ain't no, for me, she don't do none of that. Where most niggas see this chick, niggas gonna be pulling money off. Nigga doing this and that. With me, I didn't have to do none of that shit. And a matter of fact, I never even, if I asked that chick for money, she would have went out and got that shit for me. But when we went on trips and all that shit, that chick paid for all of that shit. I used to never pull out anything. Matter of fact, I never planned anything. That chick, every place we went, I used to go hella 5 places with this chick, and she paid for everything. Because and that was my nature. That's why when we talk on here about shit, and I be like, man, I don't be paying to take no chick out or doing that shit, because I always had chicks to do that shit. This chick right here would do that shit. That's why I was looking back like, damn, what these bitches like about maybe some of the crazy shit I say. I don't know what the fuck it was. And then one thing, I ain't an egotistical nigga. I ain't gonna be like, because a nigga looks or anything back then and all this. I ain't gonna say none of that shit. I don't know what these bitches liked about me, but this chick, like I say, but peel off everything. I wasn't having to trick off anything. Bitch is bad, cold body on her, but her mindset. But like I say, she lost her mother and shit. I don't know if that affected her or what it was. Like, it was just like other things that was like flawed with her and shit. I could not fuck with her at the while. But I remember telling that chick, like, damn, because that shit used to play out in my head. Like when I be dropping off, like I think I was gonna be always playing that shit out. But it'd be every time I go to work, I'm about to say, and I just don't say when I drop her off. It'd be times I wouldn't even tell her bye. I just peel off and shit. And fucking I tell that chick, and she be like I wouldn't go to no black chick to talk this shit to with none of that shit. I'm talking to this Asian chick who barely knew English, but we were talking shit. And I was like, she'd be telling me, like, no, you shouldn't do it, and this and that. And I'd be like, nah. Then I'd be like, the one night I drop her off, I said, hey, after I pick you up, I said, lose my number. That's how cold I did. That's how bad she got on my nerves. I said, you ain't even gotta I said you can lose my, I said some shit. I was like, after I pick you up, I said, I'm cool on you. We ain't even gotta fuck with each other no more. Just delete my phone number, act like I don't exist. That's how cold I did. That bitch started breaking down crying. And I meant that shit. I stopped calling her. But then my mom used to invite her to the house and shit. Mom used to like that chick. Picasso says, that's probably the evil in the motherfucker saying do it. And he says probably because you look like the Cookie Monster. He says a cookie muncher. No, y'all see me with weight. You niggas on here recognize me after I done put on all this weight from not working out. But I used to be fit. Used to be fit than a motherfucker back then. And that bitch, but I say, that bitch, because we used to work together, man, I used to be, but I guess bitches because I used to crack bitches off the shit bitches that hear me say. Like, man, like I said, I don't know what these bitches back then, but I love that they love me because I love these chicks. And he says, who don't much to have, says the hair pie. Says who don't much the hair pie. Man, the niggas say they don't eat pussy is a weird motherfucker. Like, if you got not on any bitch, but you got a clean bitch, a sexy, real feminine, good hygiene chick, man, you a fool talking about you don't eat cooch. I think niggas say that shit is weird. SF says salute, but you don't go munching on any old broad, but you got a cool broad you done been with, her hygiene clean, her shit look good. You crazy as fuck talking about you won't munch. But like I say, it's more than that shit. Bitches got to have cool get down. She's got to be a cool chick, in control of her emotions. What's up, Deuce? Tom Cuzzo up in the building. In here just talking shit. I'm on the tail end of talking about that Nolan Wells shit and just talking this other shit about the end. Talking about how people crazy fucking around with water and all this other shit. I'll tell them about the one chick I had used to want to do all that skydiving shit. And I left her ass. I left her fucking ass like, bitch, I ain't doing that shit. Like, and I wouldn't dare do that. What the fuck I look like jumping out of an airplane, that motherfucker gonna land? Because that's the other thing. I was like, I was about to embarrass myself. Like, fuck, if I ain't do no skydiving shit in the army, I sure the fuck ain't gonna do it as a civilian. Hell no. Nah. I'm gonna get out the airplane, that motherfucker go back to the airport to land. And hell no. Nah. Hell no, I ain't doing that shit. And that chick, I don't know how she felt. She never told me she was mad, but she could have been. But like I said, I'm not doing that shit. Like I did that parasailing shit. That was the line, and that motherfucking bungee cord shit at Six Flags. I think you say you work at Six Flags. I went on that little fucking bungee cord shit they used to. Matter of fact, I think they took all that shit out of Six Flags, where they pull you back on that wire and let you go and you fucking slinging and shit. I did that shit with that bitch the whole time I'm up there. Like, man, what the fuck I do this shit with this bitch? And he says, so they off Lindsay, says in Kiev, says in line about where it happened. I was looking at that shit. They were saying his heart, it was saying somebody's heart tore or some shit. They probably did it, but then yesterday when I was reading on him, that nigga got fucked up genetics. They showing his mom died young from some shit. And then his dad died young. So I think that shit might be some genetic shit with his whole ass. He want to be on that racist shit. And he a fucking weak system ass dude. But it could have been if they killed him. I'm all for that shit. They did it. But then I was looking at this shit. Let me show this shit with this weak ass fucking black ass politician fucking Cory Booker. Hold on. Let me find this shit. That's what I wanted to talk. I should have brought that shit up earlier. This weak shit put out by this motherfucker Cory Booker, talking all this forgiveness shit and sympathies to this fucking dude's family and shit. Hold on. Let me see where this. I was like, man, these niggas is weak as fuck, man. I used to say all this whole ass shit. Don't do nothing for the people. But the minute one of these chump ass people died. Let me see. Weekend trip with girlfriends and that. Oh, they done pulled Cash Patel, carpet flying ass. Let me see. So they ain't got Cash Patel, magic carpet flying ass, trying to take another trip with his little basic looking broad on the FBI jet, and they subpoenaed this motherfucker. So they subpoenaed the Cash Patel whole ass. After growing frustrations over that fool. He's being subpoenaed to the White House over growing frustration. So it looked like Trump gonna fire him, like I've been saying. He gonna be the next one Trump fired. Man, everybody I'm calling out, that's the exact way that shit's playing out with these clowns. Hold on, let me find Cory Booker's shit. Hold on. This nigga's a fucking hoe, man. Let me see. Where's this fool at? Oh, weak ass politicians, man. Hold on. Let me hold 1 second. It's going to pop up. Let's see. Hold on. Where is this fool at? He like walking up the block or some shit. Speaking all this nice shit about fucking Lindsey Graham and shit. Hold on. Cory Booker, Lindsey Graham. I'm like, these niggas are some weak ass fucking dudes, man. Oh, Cory Booker, Lindsey Graham. Because I'm like, these fools ought to have the same approach Trump had when the motherfucker he don't like died. These niggas come off as some of the weakest motherfuckers I ever heard. He talking about how he's my friend and this and that, man. Fuck this. They need me in politics, man. So I'd be like, man, I'll get on that motherfucker, man. Fuck that fool, nigga. Kick dirt, you piece of shit. All right, here we go. Let me pull this whole ass politician, man. Stop voting for these weak ass dudes. We need the Michigan Fizz play all this tough shit and all this other shit, then sympathetic crybaby weasels.
And I'm a brand new senator, determined to do something about mass incarceration. And I hear through Dick Durbin and others that he's the guy to work with. And I say, Mr. Graham, sir, I'd like to work with you on criminal justice reform. He seems almost amused by what I said. He goes, Corey, do you understand? I'm in a primary right now, and I'm running against a guy who is batshit crazy. I can't even so much as talk to you right now. Get out of here, man. Come back to me after my primary. And I laughed and came back to him after the primary. And true to his word, he rolled up his sleeves and we went to work. And thanks to him and Dick Durbin and some other Senate heroes, our bill became the First Step Act after years, 2 presidents, 2 Congresses, and became law. One of my favorite moments in that negotiation was at the last minute, I'm trying to force one more thing into that bill. This has to do with children being put in solitary confinement. And I am going at it with this White House official who says, no, hard no. And we're almost yelling at each other. And then he says, I'm going to get Lindsey Graham on the phone and he will tell you. And so he gets the White House operator to connect Lindsey Graham onto the phone. And Lindsey Graham listens for maybe a hot second and then interrupts the guy.
This nigga, where's he in New Jersey?
Are you kidding me? We need Cory Booker to get this bill done. We can't do it without him. Give him what he wants. And it was in the bill. It's now part of the law of the land. One of the White House negotiators during that first negotiation told me that Lindsey Graham was like an unguided missile. That God, you never knew which way he was going to go, whether he would come back and hit you. But when he was aligned, when he would be in the right place at the right time, man, he could get things done that other people couldn't and bring a lot of light and new possibilities to the efforts. I am stunned at Lindsey Graham's death, but I pray that he is reunited with his friend, John McCain, that they both are experiencing God's love, grace, mercy, and forgiveness. My prayers are with his family and all those who loved and cherished him. I will miss my perhaps most unexpected friend in the Senate and someone with whom I got some good things done. So I go up to...
Man, kick this nigga up out of fucking Congress. Man, get him the fuck out of here. Weak ass dude. But yeah, that motherfucker, Lindsey Graham got weak ass genetics. He talked all the old sucker primacy shit. And God showed him how sucker premise his health system is and off this whole ass. He says that nigga was in Ukraine Saturday. Says told you about Corey Bussey. Says Dollar Tree Obama. Like this is hoes, man. I'm like, how the fuck you get on there and doing all this old soft ass forgiveness shit? Like, man, Lindsey Graham would have shit on your whole ass. You die, you piece of fucking pale skin shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. Stop voting these clown ass dudes in. These dudes soft in the motherfucker. Ain't got no heart to keep it real like it's supposed to be. Like, man, hell, I would have shit on Lindsey Graham the same way I've been doing on here. You know where I say no positive shit about Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is a fucking Carolina bigot motherfucker who follows the history of what whites have always been in South Carolina. Matter of fact, Carolina, the history of South Carolina is where the whole arguments about the ending of slavery and all that shit, Carolina said, fuck the United States. We break away from that shit. And Lindsey Graham upholds that historic foundation. And that man, come on, this nigga, man, vote Cory Booker out whenever he come up for, get him out of here. And then for being a weak ass dude, these niggas can disrespect these niggas, and these niggas apologizing to him and shit. And then Picasso says Trump ain't even say all that nice ass shit about motherfucking Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham be kissing Trump ass. Trump ain't had none of that nice ass shit to say that. Trump ain't even do a video to fucking recognize that motherfucker. He says the risk of going on trips says with no plans, no no protocol, etc. Says of getting back home safely, says never go places without being reachable by phone. That's true. Or reachable if you far away, you ain't just trying to call your family, you need to be able to reachable, call 911 or some shit. SF says supposedly the exact facility Lindsey visited got blew up. Says that's why they think the heart attack was made up. And but they said no, they did, like I was saying with the autopsy shit, like I was saying about this story about the autopsy with the Nolan Wells. The autopsy neither for me has to come out before I make any speculation on that shit, but I don't think race is involved. But I'm like, if they came out with Lindsey Graham's autopsy or medical cause of death and shit. How long it's gonna take to get this dude autopsy complete, or whether or not it was foul play or he just drowned and shit. And he says, but he's saying the heart attack was made up. And he says, while I knew he was soft, says, but Cory is worse than I thought. Yeah, Cory Booker, a weak ass piece of shit, man. He's a sorry ass motherfucking politician who doesn't need to be in office. Why people are going through all this shit, why things are tough, these deep-seated ass racist motherfuckers, and his black ass, the only motherfucker. I ain't even seen a white dude fucking in politics show empathetic shit towards Lindsey Graham. This motherfucker's on the Republican side already talking about taking his position. Hey, the motherfucking weak ass dude, get these sorry ass black dudes the fuck up out of here, man. And then Picasso says politics ain't a distraction, bro. Says politics is distraction because all of us should be with one purpose of being a safe country for families. Politics ain't a distraction. Politics is what rules this land, bro. Like, so I don't know where y'all use these terms to mix things up with what the importance of politics. That shit is crucial. And the reason why this country is fucked up is because people don't pay attention to politics and they don't know how to fuck the vote. And then and then the other thing is that people get lured into narratives from other little twisted, wicked ass people that'll twist your views and perceptions of a party and a political candidate and have you twisting up the history and all that other shit. And he says good against evil. Unfortunately, says we're governed by evil people. Yeah, we're governed by them now because you motherfuckers be listening to the Jedi mind tricks. He says he told Cory, he says I can't be seen with its black ass until after my primary. Says, and Cory accepted that. Says, what a damn sucker. Yeah. Cory Booker's a hoe, man. Says Trump destroyed Robert Mueller when he passed. Says, and John McCain too. And Cory Booker out here being all sad for fucking Lindsey Graham like a bitch. Like Trump and them shit on these motherfuckers they don't like. Shit on them. And when Trump died, what the fuck Lindsey Graham pussy ass gonna say? He gonna be the first nigga to jump on this motherfucking phone to record some old fucking eulogy and shit. Bitch ass dude. Get him the hell up out of here, man. Get all these weak ass dudes out of here. If anything, you shouldn't even made a video. Fuck Lindsey Graham. You ain't making a video talking about pissing on his goddamn grave. Then what the fuck you in here crying about the nigga? He done did this. He said, wait after my primary, I'm going to get somebody crazy. And then he voted with me on nothing. The talk wasn't about nothing for money, about some jail shit. Man, niggas is fucking whack as fuck. Says Trump showed no empathy, says when his political opponents die, says, but watch all these weak, especially weak ass black politicians do all this crying shit for Lindsey Graham, probably one of the most bigoted motherfuckers in all of American politics, and pushes a lot of the hardcore line of the political bigots, a bunch of these deep-seated Klans members sitting in the motherfucking Capitol in the White House, and this old black ass mulatto motherfucker want to come out apologizing for this dude. He says people pretend Ladybug Graham says was a good person. Says he was says evil person personified. Sorry, was evil personified. And it's even crazy because when I'm looking at the video, because I want to hear, because like I said, I laughed about this nigga dying, and I'm gonna laugh when Trump gone, Mitch, all these pieces of shit. But I was looking at a lot of the videos from even white people who cover politics, and they all have nothing but negative shit to say about Lindsey Graham. Ain't none of them got positive shit to say. Even I was seeing somebody did a video, they added a clip from Alex Jones. Even Alex Jones had nothing positive to say about the dude. And this old black ass dude, the only out of all the videos I've heard on Lindsey Graham, the most positivity comes from fucking Cory Booker. You fucking imbecile ass dude, homeboy, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. He says people pretend Ladybug Graham was a good person. Says he was evil personified. Says he was just talking about nuking Iran. Yeah, all this crazy shit. Oh, evil ass motherfucker. Now you ain't gonna be here to nuke shit. God gonna nuke your ass when he sends you down with the devil and shit. Lindsey Graham always looked like he was ready to pass. Nigga, eyes always red. His whole face red, and nigga bloated and shit. And he says he wasn't a good person. Yeah, he wasn't good at all. Wouldn't dare cry for none of these sorry motherfuckers. And it's a whole lot more of the motherfuckers that need to pass away. That's like one of the ladies I work with. White lady was talking about the Charlie Kirk. I remember her asking me about Charlie Kirk when he first died, and I told her, I said, I don't give two fucks about Charlie Kirk. He got what he deserved. And then recently she's asking about, the guys on trial for his killing, all this stuff. I said, man, I was like, I don't give two shits about Charlie Kirk. But it's not right to even kill people. I said, I don't give a damn. People gonna die for some of the shit they say. That's what happened. But on the other side, the suspect got to deal with their day in court. But he thought it was righteous, but you ain't gonna find me crying about that punk ass dude. I'm gonna fuck if he got kids or not. He's a piece of shit. And the bitch that survived from how his old test tube daddy having ass, because he ain't fucked the bitch. He put fucking semen in the tube and they put it in the bitch. That old twisted ass whore. Nobody feel empathy for that bitch showing up to court, trumping them, acting like they some old political heroes of the United States. Man, nigga don't represent shit about America. I don't get two fucks about that funky dog ass dude. That's why his ass is gone. But the person who's gonna pay for it is the person who shot him. But for me to want to cry for Charlie Kirk don't mean two bits of shit. This fucking new arriving ass dude ain't got no history in America. He means nothing to America. He talked all that wicked ass shit about real American ass people. Fuck the punk. And that's the way I speak about that shit. The other motherfuckers would have, you niggas would be sound like Cory Booker. This white lady asked you that shit. And then because it says Obama gave a heartfelt speech, says for John McCain. Man, fuck John McCain. John McCain's a piece of shit too. He may have done some shit. Now people change on John McCain when he defeated Trump. I forgot what it was. That nigga was down there on his deathbed. And see, people had a newfound respect for McCain, but McCain was a bitch though. McCain did that shit as being one of the few Republicans to stand up against Trump before he died. And when he died, Trump let it be. Fuck that nigga. What type of shit Trump whole asshole. So when Trump died, you best believe, I'm about to be on this bitch celebrate. I'm at the call because I gotta go live every day of the week. I gotta celebrate that shit. Gotta celebrate that shit. Shit, Melania gonna have to get out here and toot her ass up. She's gonna be walking the track. And then the one in Washington, D.C. nigga is going to be her pimp. And then Mardad says, Charlie Last Breath says with some disrespectful shit. Says, I don't feel bad for him either. Absolutely. Like I always say when I say this shit about Charlie Kirk, I go to my kids' school and they got a teacher with a Charlie Kirk sticker on the side of her shit. Like, yo, funky bitch, fuck that motherfucker. I can't wait to run into the bitch who drive that car. I'm like, this nigga, like I always tell people, Charlie Kirk got killed while talking all this ill shit about people he know nothing about. This nigga got killed in one of the whitest states and the whitest cities and one of the whitest fucking institutions of education, which has deep systematic racial issues in it, in front of the whitest crowds that America had seen all that year, while talking ill shit about black folks, and he gets popped by a white bullet. And then I hear the white kid inscribe some shit on it. I think he may put Charlie Kirk's name on the bullet. And then all these old white kids and white people in attendance did nothing but run away like cowards, all parading and cheering on and hoo la la and blah 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 blah, motivating and all this fucking crowd like motherfucking bravado and shit. And then when the shit really ring off, they turn the bitches that they are. And he says, and then Picasso and the Roland says, John McCain defended Obama on the campaign trail against racist white voters. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, he did say some shit about that when they were accusing Obama of being something, because that was a bunch of shit that even when McCain, that was a bunch of Trump shit. That was the early phases of Trump shit starting to kind of fester into kind of the talking points of a lot of white conservatives and shit. Is Donald Trump pushing that shit about birtherism, why he got a fucking immigrant bitch. But that Donald Trump shit was allowed to grow because a lot of these fucking Democratic motherfuckers is a bunch of weak ass pussy ass people. And they couldn't even address that shit. Like, how this nigga talking about somebody's birth certificate and this nigga bitch don't even know how to talk English. Get the fuck up out of here. Bitch a prostitute. And this nigga talking about who don't belong. That nigga mama is not even born on this fucking country. His daddy barely born here. Like, get the fuck out of here with these retarded ass motherfuckers. He says he upheld the Affordable Care Act. Says, and Keisha says, yo, Reggie says, did you hear? I mean, what kind of question is that? Did you hear? Stop at that. He says, John McCain says was a real American hero. Says, regardless of your personal opinion. He was a hero of what? Don't talk about his Vietnam shit. Man, that nigga McCain, every time I only heard about shit from McCain and trust. I knew somebody was a black POW. Why they do all this shit with Vietnam? That you'd send me on some other shit about all this Vietnam shit, making everything about some other white people. Like I say, the black motherfucker who I knew, Tony Marshall, who was a fucking Marine pilot, who was also a POW over there, who said John McCain it wasn't 2 bits of shit, and how the motherfucking Viet Cong get him and then give 2 fucks about him. When you look up, John McCain was a nigga who set a missile off on the aircraft carrier, then there blew all the motherfucking aircraft on it up. Then this nigga, and then it was like he connected to some family and shit. Cause how the fuck everything following this nigga? Then he ended up being as a captured POW, getting his plane shot the fuck out the air, and everything about this nigga. Like, get the fuck up out of here. Act like he the only one. He a war hero for what? Getting captured and shit? Flying the plane? Like, I don't put no hero shit on niggas flying planes when the real war is on the ground. Like, get the fuck up out of here. Trying to highlight these niggas as war heroes. These niggas in airplanes and shit. The fuck out of here. And then he says, since they pissed, what he says, they pissed on, what is that? What you got right? I don't know what you writing. Says, and he says, since I don't say that lightly, nah, I wouldn't call McCain an American hero like that. For what? I don't know. And he says, since the autopsy will show Nono was pissed on. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Says Nono was pissed on. And then he says, she says, Donald Trump was the first FBA, talking about Obama, the tether. Oh, sure. And then he says, John McCain refused an offer of early release. Says his captors, John McCain refused an early offer of release. Says his captors offered to free him because his father was a high-ranking Navy admiral. So that's why they highlight this nigga John McCain. I knew he had to be related to somebody, but I don't think nothing that special of him. Says you funny, and then says you will say that sitting on your behind, says while others are fighting. Says we're fighting for you. What are you talking about fighting for you? What the fuck you think? I ain't been to the fucking military, you fucking dipshit motherfucker. Well, like I say, American military people ain't the motherfuckers fighting for your freedom, you dumb fuck. You about dumb. That's how dumb and un-American you are. You just been influenced by retarded ass talking points from people. Don't nobody serving the military fight for your fucking freedom. Hell, military people ain't got no fucking freedoms. That's why I know you niggas just be talking and listen to what these fake ass politicians put out there as fucking air for you retarded oxygen, wasteful oxygen sucking motherfuckers to fucking breathe back out your fucking dead celled ass brains. Like motherfucking military people come back to this motherfucker ain't got to write that shit. And you talking about fighting for your freedoms when you can't even get a country to provide you with health care. You can't even get a country to provide you with a fucking high level, high resource education unless you grow up in a certain zip code. You can't even get a country to get a president to sign off to give you affordable housing and shit. You can't even have the fucking right to determine whether or not data centers can be built in your neighborhood or not. The influence of other people's money and groups funneling money in here, and you want to talk about people fighting for you and shit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm a fucking military vet, and I watch what veterans go through, you fucking imbecile. You're a retarded motherfucker saying that dumb shit because you'd have heard other people chant that dumb shit who ain't never served and shit. These motherfuckers don't do shit. The fight in this motherfucker come from people who are activists, dumbass. Activists, not no soldiers. Soldiers get orders that are giving to their generals and other high-ranking officers from corporate motherfuckers who pass it on to politicians who send you to fucking war. You watching it firsthand with this idiot named Donald Trump. And then Iran's response is to not, and this is how intelligent Iran is in their response to it. Iran's response ain't to say, let's go send one of our nukes way over there. Let's go fly a plane into some shit. Iran says, no, let's look at this shit from a true military strategy. Let's fuck them over economically, because before they engage in this war, we already paying attention to news. We watch the American economy. We get word back of what's going on. Inflation is a new thing affecting Americans. Jobs are affecting Americans. Americans' dependency on this very vital resource that they come over here for. We'll shut this damn shipping lane off. We'll close this motherfucking shipping routes off. We'll blow ships up. Oh, they want to send bombs in here? Okay, let's go hit their fucking bases. Oh, he wants to send bombs and bomb shit. His bombs cost millions of fucking dollars. We'll send some $20,000 to develop ass drone over there and blow up some old $1 billion shit that Americans pay for, and this war will start to cost them economically for the cost and spending for this war, and then how it affect these motherfuckers in their everyday ability to buy shit. That's how you hit back at these motherfuckers. That's why I say, even with America and its response, Bush retarded response to 9/11 was dumb, homie. Going to a fucking 20-year war with some shit 18 motherfuckers who were dead end up doing. And you're going to a 20-year war that costs motherfuckers all this money, but you can cost the American economy all this money because on the other end, the president and his cronies can go in there and fucking manipulate the system and get rich themselves while sending soldiers over there. And the soldiers die. All the politicians get on there is, I feel sorry for, what that shit say? Yeah, we feel sorry we lost some lives and this and that, and we'll avenge him and blah, blah, blah. This is a great soldier we love and we care for him and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. Turn the camera off. I don't give a shit about this motherfucker. How much money am I making from this shit? That's all they care about. You niggas is dumb as fuck buying this stupid shit. And then Keisha says, them racist kids pissed on Nolan. I don't know how you find piss on Nolan and being in water, Keisha. I don't know where you get that. And he says, I'm a vet, cornball. Says, I put time so you can sit there and run your mouth. Your time in the military ain't do shit. Your time in the military was because your stupid ass didn't have anything else going. Your ass, stupid ass, joined like most of us. Because you couldn't get a job or you didn't know anything about a job and you wasn't going to college. This is the only reason why you served in the military, stupid. You sit there and do that old dumb shit, acting like you serve. You really went in there and said, man, recruiter, I'm looking to fight for the American citizen freedom. But you the same motherfucker in the way you vote will fucking fight against other Americans from having the right to shit. But you will talk some old dumb shit that you joined the military to fight for people's rights. And you probably one of these white motherfuckers that don't want people to have shit based on race. Like, you can't pull that dumb shit in here, Herschel. Talking about you joined the military. Motherfucker, I served the military before you ever joined that shit. Oh, the fuck you talking about? But I ain't never known where, even all the motherfuckers I served with, I ain't never known one of them motherfuckers, even the most lying motherfucker that said he served the military to help fight for somebody's freedom. That's how I know you sound stupid. I know you did not serve the military. You sitting in here lying about your service. And he nigga talking about he served the military for freedom, but will come over here and be, they don't need the immigrants taking our jobs, and we don't want black people to have this and that shit. We don't want them to have access to Medicare. We want them to die poor and in despair. Get the fuck out of here. Niggas be lying. And military service ain't to fight for nobody's fucking freedom. Get the fuck out of here. You serving that shouldn't have to worry about whether or not you get out honorably in that motherfucker. And then Keisha says the story is too much. Says when you bring piss into it. I don't know where you heard no piss story yet. He says how they find piss on him. Says after being in the ocean all that time. Yeah, they just be making up shit. And that shit works on the internet with people. Somebody released some shit, just like they released some photo of him on July 5th at some damn pool party. And they saying, man, see, that mean he made it back from the shore. He at this pool party. That mean they killed him after the party and then took him back to the island to hide it. But then they show a zoomed up picture of this picture. They said Ben Crump. That's why Ben Crump need to stop some of that shit if he don't want to put it up. But they said a pool party. They zoom in. The black nigga ain't nothing close to being Nolan Wells. Like, people need to stop the stupid shit. And he says, they're sitting in the water talking about piss on them. And then Picasso in there, Roland says, fact, says we put our lives on the line. Says get 10%. Says get 10% off of purchase at home. Facts. But I'm glad you brought that shit up. 10% off purchase at Home Depot. Says we get treated like we actually betrayed the country. This other thing, I'll be going to places before I buy some shit if it's high in price, and I'll be like, hey, do y'all got military discounts? Most of them like, no, we don't. Or some people be like, well, we do a military discount on the first Tuesday of the second month of the lunar cycle of the moon and Venus. But we got a discount. It's 3% for veterans and stuff. Thank you for fighting for our freedom and our service. Service don't mean shit. All these rights in this motherfucker have to come off of regular civilian motherfuckers fighting and speaking and objecting to fucking crooked ass politicians in order for you to have a right. And you think, and you the dumb motherfucker that got in here, and I hope you just writing it as a joke and trying to troll and shit, but you in here with me, homeboy, and I'm far from a dumb, retarded motherfucker to know none of that shit is true, homie. And I know they regurgitate that shit. The politicians try to teach that shit. Pete Hegg said, talking motherfuckers try to teach that shit. It ain't no freedom that no service motherfuckers ever fought for. The motherfuckers we've been going to wars to make fucking capitalistic motherfuckers connected to people richer. Simple as fucking that. And to kill people, because it's always been the twisted, wicked ways of these motherfuckers. They ain't going over there to liberate no country, none of that shit. New technology gets discovered, but they need some mineral to run this technology, and all of a sudden they'll find a reason to create a war with these motherfuckers. Talking about this person these are our enemies. No, they not. They ain't no fucking Americans ain't got no enemies. Don't know these foreign countries fucking hate America like they may hate these old business pussies. And then Mark says, never forget, Bibi was the one, says, who manipulated Bush and Congress to going in Iraq. Says he said they had weapons of mass destruction. They had none. And we get these retarded motherfucking politicians following in these old foreign line motherfuckers like Bush and them. And then soldiers, not the politicians' families get sent over there. Regular civilian niggas go over there. And then SF in there rolling. Nikisha says the word on the street says after the why you gotta put YK? Just write white. Are y'all afraid to write certain shit? Says white kids beat up on no. Says those savages motherfuckers pissed on the nigga. Man, you ain't heard none of that shit. And he's just making up shit. And then the Patreon says America has never been in a war to defend itself. Facts. Says this wars all serve illegal corporate interests. Says or to defend Netanyahu country. That's it. We ain't been in a war that meant shit. The only war that ever made sense in this motherfucker has been the Civil War. And that's the American Civil War. It's been the only war in American history to serve a purpose. World War I didn't serve a purpose. World War II didn't, except for America going in there to help fight their relatives' war. The relatives of their Europeans, because it's where most of the white people in this country came from. And they watched conflict occurring over there, and they want to pick the winners and losers of this conflict. It's all World War II is about, because in the ending result in the way in which America handled World War II was all wrong. And that's what shapes the current climate of the world is shaped by World War II. Europeans starting shit. And then they turn everybody else as the enemy except the Europeans. The Germans is no longer the evil motherfucking regime. Every other nation gets turned into some evil empire by if you let these motherfuckers teach you that bullshit. Like, motherfuckers is crazy, homie. And then Herschel would never write another stupid ass comment because he been taught some dumb fake shit about what service means. Service don't mean none of that shit. Niggas get out the military, got to fight for all type of rights and benefits and shit. And then you let the wrong politician get in that motherfucker, and then they want to write and change laws that even strip shit away from veterans. You will write some old dumbass. You better write that shit in some retarded nigga comment section. Like, nigga, I pride myself on being intelligent, homie, and not following the dumb shit niggas spew out. All that patriotic shit is the fakest shit I will ever hear from motherfuckers, especially from white motherfuckers who think so highly of this fake military service they got. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Niggas, I be watching you niggas who done serve in some of the most elite groups in this fucking military who get out and complain because even they get fucked over. This is crazy. That's how I know you ain't serving the military. Now, Mark Nash says most of us were straight out of high school, says, and didn't have a plan. It's exactly. Bisbee, ain't nobody, I don't know, no motherfucker that said they joined out of pride for the nation. Only dumb motherfucker that I've ever heard to do that shit was fucking Pat Tillman of the fucking Arizona Cardinals. And guess what happened to his motherfucking ass? Doing all this shit and his little emotional response to watching 9/11 without taking a seat back and really properly peeping like what the fuck really went on. Is when Pat Tillman goes to fucking leaving the NFL, leaving millions of dollars on the fucking football field to go join the motherfucking military and join. I think he became a Ranger. Either he became a Ranger or Delta Force, whatever Pat Tillman. He joined a special force group only to be killed by these motherfuckers. He ain't get killed by no Iraqi, no Afghan. He got killed by other American soldiers who probably deliberately did that shit out of some old jealous shit. And what the military do is cover that shit up. The same thing when you go into this other shit in the 90s. Remember this shit on that Navy ship? The fucking because a lot of niggas don't be following history. I'm a history remembering nigga and push this shit. Is the shit in the Navy with the fucking, what was the shit, the USS Iowa? These fools out there training, what was they down in near Puerto Rico or some shit? Why the Navy holds Puerto Rico's possession so they can bomb that motherfucking train? It's fucking, they doing the test on the Iowa and the motherfucking gun blows up. The gun blows up. And mind, the Iowa's a World War II battleship. This fucking gun blows up and kills like 50 fucking sailors on that motherfucker. The Navy does this investigation, covering up all the issues with this old ass ship, and blames it on a single soldier and try to label he was gay, and that's the reason why he sabotaged the gun and blow it up to bring shame to his family's name and to cover up what the Navy did wrong, so they didn't have to pay out benefits to that motherfucker and his family. And then that shit was like fucking. Many soldiers fucking fought back against that bullshit from the Navy. That's type of shit your fucking politicians and all these other motherfuckers higher up would do to a motherfucker because you don't mean shit to these motherfuckers. Even I remember in basic training they used to have, I don't know if it was I think it was a cadence like dealing with how expendable you are. No, it used to be sergeants talking about that shit. Like other higher ups would talk about how expendable you are as a soldier. Like, nigga, they don't give a fuck about you. Nigga, they're recruiting a new one of you every other fucking month. Like, now you think you matter? Like, get the fuck out of here. They kicked you out, or you fucking phase out. It's more coming behind you because America got a revolving door of poor motherfuckers here needing a place to go, and the military is it. Like, get the fuck out of here. Fool, talk about fucking fighting for freedom to have the right to speak because he served in the military. You peon brain motherfucker say some stupid shit like that. Any dumb motherfucking military says this shit like that ain't nothing but regurgitating shit because he don't know how to think. And like I've always said that shit. That's why I never used to respond. Niggas hear you serve in the military talking about thanks for fighting for our freedom. look at motherfuckers like, man, yeah, whatever. Unless you're an older motherfucker, I just gotta respect, gotta say that shit. But I'll say some polite shit like, I don't think my service did anything to fight for freedom. Activists are the ones who do that shit. And you get some old unknowledgeable people that complain about people out in these streets, making their voices be heard. And then these people like Trump and who want to squash protesting. You gotta be a dumb, for you niggas to be against protesters are some fucking idiots. You've been conned into the political game and tricks of Republican bullshit. Niggas be anti-motherfucking protest. Get the fuck out of here. That's a quicker way of silencing motherfuckers. So then you buy into thanks for fighting for our freedom. You give me the right to speak. Fucking idiots. He says, but yeah, niggas ain't never heard no niggas serve the military for the country. Only Pat Tillman did that dumb shit and they killed his motherfucking ass. His own people in elite fucking unit and they kill him and shit. Fuck out. Friendly fire. Friendly, they delivered a bunch of jealous motherfuckers in that group, killed that nigga. And then Mark says we wanted to travel, and get some college money. And then I had a recruiter come up and I didn't mind serving because like Pop served and all that other stuff. And he says, and the Patreon says, but I grew up hearing like, man, the military ain't no place for no black men. So I grew up with that shit. So if it hadn't been for that recruiter, I wasn't gonna be running to that motherfucking shit. And the Patreon says Americans fight to protect European African foreigners like Musk, says right to be a welfare queen, trillionaire, says facts. And that's the thing with our wealth class. These niggas is welfare recipients. The wealthiest people in this country are welfare recipients. And I'm glad I ain't the only one that talks like that. So salute the Patreon for even saying that shit, because it's the same shit I say. Rich America's wealthiest people come from welfare manipulation. It is welfare recipients. It says Americans fight to protect European African foreigners like Musk, right to be a welfare queen, trillionaire, says who doesn't pay tax. Says American whites are the goofiest, insecure people on earth. A lot of them, they so unknowledgeable, and that's why you got to at least have intelligence and understanding of shit of just how to a lot of these got to be schooled. They got to be reschooled. And then Keisha says you funny as fuck. Says I like you. Salute. And then the Panda says it's true. Says the reports are the white kids pissed on all it. Man, I don't buy it. Y'all niggas that shit would never work with me, bro. You ain't heard nothing from a protest, and I don't know where you're gonna find piss being on somebody as fucking this is what they did to him. Says Ben Krupp can confirm there was piss involved. Where he get that? Are they gonna be able to fucking piss ain't gonna stick on a motherfucker sitting in water? I never heard that shit. What, did it cling in his hair? Like, the fuck out of here. Fuck it. They wouldn't even find well piss on you if a well pissed on you in water. Get the fuck out of here. And then SF says they kept that Tillman shit under wraps for the longest. Yeah, they try to hide that shit with Tillman. That's how dirty these niggas is. Even, man, there's a black girl currently. What's her name? Damn, I had did a video. This is my old channel. This is another video I did that blew up with the chick. Damn, what's her name? Johnson. Let me see. Her name was PFC Johnson. That was her name. Murder. Her name was. Hold on, I'm pull this shit up. Murdered, and this chick was killed in Iraq on the army base, and they try to talk about her name, Lavina Johnson. I'm gonna pull her up there. This is the shit niggas gotta keep her story fuck alive. Hold, let me pull her up because I want her picture shown on this shit. She dies in Iraq in her motherfucking tent. And they try to rule this shit a suicide. It's back in 2005. So it's over 21 years ago with this chick. Dies in her fucking tent. Like I said, and then there's a documentary her father and them did. And I think the father died of some shit. So this is a Fort Campbell Army PFC. Her name, Lavina Johnson, died of non-combat related injuries in Iraq. They ruled, and this is why you can't trust these motherfuckers. Why you think you serving, they doing for your freedom. They ruled her death a suicide because they covering up for some old white ass officer who it was revealed this white officer had been trying to fucking fuck this chick. I think she reported to her parents about the harassment. A lot of these chicks in the military deal with this shit from these old weak, no game having ass punks in the military. This and look, they try to rule a suicide. And this goes back into why people don't want Mississippi investigating Nolan's case, just in case there's some cover up because people are so interconnected and shit. When you're dealing with families that are connected to judges and law enforcement and shit. So the military tried to rule her death a suicide. The family said, nah, they ain't rocking with this shit. Because this girl, they showed, man, the autopsy where they show where they talking about she took the M16 and blew her head off. And they like from how short she was, she wouldn't even have the ability to do that shit. Then her fucking genitalia and shit is burnt. It's and a bunch of other wounds she had and shit. He said, but the independent investigation revealed rape and murder. And military still ain't went to solve what happened. This chick dies on the American military base, a secure military base, in her tent. Let me see if they got photos on this shit. Y'all got to check this story out yourselves. Why this nigga and who Herschel ain't gonna write a motherfucking comment again in this motherfucker saying this dumb shit he want to say in here. But like I say, they show all this shit. And her dad was on this shit. Like I said, I had years ago on my early channels, like I said, I did a video on that shit. But Lavina Johnson, who it is, and they try to turn her shit into she killed herself. The same shit with the girl Vanessa on Fort Hood. That's what flipped Fort Hood upside fucking down. Homie, about all the shit going on in Fort Hood was when that girl Vanessa pops up missing. And if had it not been for her family, made her sister and mother in there pushing like something wrong, that this girl goes missing when she's supposed to be coming home. The sister been in luck, she communicate with her family. She talking about this kid there who was always flirting with her. She's always, turned them down and this and that. She didn't feel comfortable working with him. She reported this shit to her to her superiors in her unit who treated, because they don't handle shit professionally. Never really dressed this shit. This fool, they had these fools working on the weekend. This nigga kills this girl, mutilates her body and all that shit. And they like, nah, this fool got something to do with it. They don't want to. In mind, for who's going to ignore that shit? The sisters began to sit out in front of Fort Hood gates, posting outside the gates with signs and all that other shit, looking for their sister. The dude who did it thought he'd get away because Fort Hood ignored that shit. He didn't give a fuck about that shit. It was a Colleen reporter had started seeing, because these girls' stories start to pick up on social media a little bit. The Colleen fucking reporter start covering that shit. Then it began to grow. It hit social media. Then the rest of the media follows this shit. Now Fort Hood is finally forced to wake up and start really looking into this girl case, because they wanted to treat her like she went AWOL, she's a grown woman, all this other shit, and ignoring the concerns of this family. Everything the sister was reporting back about this same soldier who ended up being the suspect that they said been harassing her sister, this and that shit. And then they end up, I forget how they found remains and shit. And then when after that shit blew up, man, it was the base commander lost his fucking job. They demoted some motherfucker, a bunch of them high-ranking generals and shit lost their fucking careers, demoted and all type of shit behind that girl Vanessa and shit. Fort Hood had all type of issues on that motherfucker. All type of issues. Because like I said, they give promotions to some of the most incompetent motherfuckers in the military. And a lot of that incompetent promotion shit comes about or is granted to people based on their fucking race a lot of times. And if you're not of the right race, if you kissing a lot of white ass, you get promoted. You assimilate, you get promoted. You play the game, you get promoted, but you're an incompetent motherfucker. That's why I say when I was in there, and I used to be like, man, I seen through all that shit, and I ain't no kiss ass, and I ain't no assimilator. I said, man, fuck that shit. I'm gonna do my time, but I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. You ain't about to play none of that. Like I used to tell the motherfuckers, if you ain't gonna say nothing to these white motherfuckers, then you ain't gonna say shit to me. I'm gonna do whatever y'all allow these white motherfuckers to do outside a little delinquent, belligerent, drug addict, dope fiend, and stupid shit. That you ain't gonna say shit to me. Because I'm gonna do everything y'all let these niggas do. So fuck what you talking about. And then they want to paint me as racist and all that shit. Nah, we're gonna play the fucking game. Because you're gonna learn how to be motherfucking balanced and shit. And then, like I said, when I didn't want to go to work, I didn't go. Especially when I wasn't on tanks for the few months I was off of tanks. Nigga, I didn't want to go work. Nigga, I went back to my room, sleep, all that shit. Nigga, mob around that base, do what the fuck I want. Because these niggas incompetent as fuck. Even if I was on tanks, I could have got out a lot of shit. Like, motherfuckers, these fools is worthless motherfuckers. And then the panda says why they had to they can't even really write. And then he says there's some crazy gay Navy shit. Says I'm wondering actually. Says I don't want to know any gay Navy stories. I wouldn't want to know a gay story anyway. What the fuck you talking about? A gay story? I brought up the shit what the Navy did with the how they cover up shit with the fool in the U.S. Iowa gun explosion. Because a lot of people and go to the Iowa down there in Long Beach. And a lot of people go there to go visit Iowa. They don't know nothing about the story about that gun explosion, the terror, what do they call it? Terror number 2 explosion that killed all them sailors, blew them motherfuckers the fuck up, burnt their bodies and all that other shit. That's the story the Navy come up with. That damn ship been having all type of problems and shit. And the panda says there were witnesses that said they had a piss party, says on July 4th. Man, you don't know what the hell you talking about, bro. You ain't heard nobody say that shit. You listen to some nigga on YouTube that loves to spread false information, say some shit like that. Ain't nobody saying that shit. The niggas be a part of an investigation, all that shit. And sit there and watch a nigga get pissed on. And like that nigga who a football player, you a football player and let niggas piss on you, or any kind of athlete, then you might as well motherfucking go off yourself to allow some shit like that to happen to you. And you ain't coming and you know you do that shit to yourself, and you have no thought to retaliate against motherfuckers that do this some shit like that to you. Then you better off yourself. You motherfuckers out here crazy as fuck. But folks, that's all I got on this one. I had a cool time on this conversation. The time getting late. Work tomorrow, but I'm out of here, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully they do that autopsy, man. I want to see what the autopsy says. And it'd be crazy if it's just they just sell it to fucking homie drowned. But whether or not it goes further, where they got to be like shit, y'all niggas need to explain yourself. What? But then it's easy, like we were saying earlier, of how easy it is for these niggas to think he going here, leave him there. He ain't got no way back. He go out swimming. Like I say, people drown around large crowds of people because people ain't paying attention. People don't pay attention to shit, especially when they having fun. When it's too much large groups of people just having fun and you're around water and the water's down here, man, it's easy for you to slip under that shit. And then Joseph says, did you see the video of the Gucci Man Pooh Shiesty situation? Yeah, we had talked about that some lives ago. And like I say, Pooh Shiesty I don't care for Pooh Shiesty type motherfuckers. To me, he don't represent black people. I think a piece of shit motherfucker belong in a white man's prison. This is a good reason for them to develop prisons for dumb motherfuckers like him and his fucking father and the other people that raised him, the people that culture him to think that kind of shit is cool. People like that shouldn't be making money. Their opportunities of even coming into money should be taken away from them. What else can I say? The list goes on about why worthless motherfuckers like the Pooh Shiesties of the world need to be gone and locked away in prison. The motherfuckers is disgusting piece of shit ass bastards. He would have never pulled that shit if he was locked in the contract with Garth Brooks. Him or his father wouldn't have been doing no shit like that. They would have walked in Garth Brooks' record office with motherfucking lawyers. Clive Davis or somebody would walk in there polite. These old ignorant street talking motherfuckers would have had such an articulate vocabulary and dressing Clive Davis, begging him, please, We didn't want to have the lawyer, but the lawyer going to speak with you, Clive, and can you please do it? Now they deal with old black nigga and Gucci man as well, handle his business like old ignorant street motherfucker as well, and to carry on a street persona. That shit takes place in how they do business, and you sign it to a nigga with no education for your contract and shit. Just even goes further than how retarded these motherfuckers is. You want to be a rapper nigga and then sign to the label of some old other rapper nigga with no education, then got lucky break off of having music that didn't hit, and you think that's the way for you to get on and wonder why your money all fucked up. Like, niggas, that just shows how dumb motherfuckers is. And your way to break out a contract is to come up there with guns, lock the door, rob niggas, and then tell your homie, hey, record this shit, homie. Yeah, hey, nigga, you buy contract. And man, we get caught, the hood gonna get that nigga because they're gonna be saying he snitched. Yeah. Fucking dummies. Get these niggas the fuck up out of here. I don't rock with the nigga shit. And the SS says, Vanessa's sister said, Trump said some shit like 30K, says 30K to bury a Mexican. Damn, I believe Trump did say some old hoe ass shit like that. But we can't wait for when Trump days come to where you bury him in a sewage dump. Bury Trump in a septic tank. I can't wait for that day to come for that piece of shit ass old dude. But folks, that's all I got. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gonna clip a video because I want to make that video about Cory Booker, old hoe ass, weak ass politician, how he needs to be gone from fucking representing any district or any state of America. How Cory Booker needs to be gone from that shit. But that's all I got, folks. Peace.